Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. At ganoon po naman sa aking mga kabayan na sa labas ng ating bansa upang makapagtrabaho at matulungan ng kanya-kanya nating pamilya. At batid ko po mga kabayan ang inyong pangungulila dahil nga sa naiwan ninyong pamilya dito sa Pilipinas upang makapagtrabaho. Subalit, isa lamang po ang masasabi ko na walang problema na hindi lumilipas at walang gabi na hindi dumarating ang bagong umaga at puputok ang bukang liwayway na may dalang bagong pag-asa. So sa inyo po, magandang araw at kumusta po kayo? Once again, this is Islas Pilipinas channel na nagtatampok ng mga balita noon at ngayon.
Hearing resumed.
Magandang hapon. Nasa ikasyam na pagpupulong na po tayo kasama ang Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability para ipagpatuloy ang pagdinig sa prangkisa ng paglabag ng Abs-Cbn. Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa mga members ng Committee on Legislative Franchises at ng Kamara na nasa Zoom at nasa plenaryo sa kanilang patuloy na pagdalo. Atin pong itatala ang attendance sa mga members para po sa hapon na ito. Comsec, paki-recognize po ang ating mga resource persons sa hapong ito.
Good afternoon. From the DOLE, we have Yusek Ana Dione, ASEC Maria Teresita Coqueco, Senior Labor Employment Officer Mark Abner Acosta, ECC Executive Director Estela Banawis, and BLR Attorney Ramon Saura III. BLR OIC Director Maria Consuelo Bacay, BWC Attorney Judalyn Aldecampo, and NLRC Attorney Porday Perez. From DOJ, we have ASEC Nicholas T. and State Counsel Charles Romulus Cambalisa. From PhilHealth, we have Vice President Gregorio Rolyoda. From Pag-ibig, we have Senior Vice President Amado Isabela Dizon III and Attorney Jopert Po. From NTC, we have Deputy Commissioner Cabarrios, Commissioner Gamaliel Cordova, and Engineer Alvin Blanco. From ABS-CBN, in the plenary, we have Mr. Martin Lopez, Mr. Carlo Katigbak, Ms. Socorro Bidanes, Attorney Enrique Quiazon, Attorney Cherry Cruz, Mr. Mark Nepomuceno, Ms. Emilda Bayani, Attorney Maxim Uy, Attorney Josebet Alonso, Attorney Francis Suburbinas, Attorney Vladimir Del Rosario, Mr. Ricardo Tan, Mr. Aldrin Cerrado, Attorney Lucille Becerra, Attorney Otelo Carag, Attorney Laura Victoria Layug, Tax Counsel, Attorney Marvin Ibarra, and via Zoom we have Attorney Mario Bautista and Ms. Consuelo Lopez. From ABS-CBN's former employees, we have in the plenary Mr. Jornally Bayonan, Mr. Christopher Mendoza, Mr. Enrico Adriano, and Mr. Rogelio Tugade. Via Zoom, we have Mr. Joseph Ong and Mr. Elmer Evaristo. From ABS-CBN's former news anchors, we have Mr. Jay Sonsa and Ms. Rowena Hidalgo Otida in the plenary. From Centro, we have Mr. Benjamin Miguel Alvero III. From ABS-CBN Rank and File Employees Union, we have Mr. Generoso Villanueva Jr. From ABS-CBN Supervisors Union, we have Mr. Raul De Asis. From OPM, we have Mr. Ogie Alcacid. From PAMI, we have Ms. June Torrejon Rufino. And from ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation, we have Ms. Susan Alan. We have also resource person from Pag-ibig, Senior Vice President Amado Isabela Dizon, and Attorney Jobert Po.
Maraming salamat, Comsec. The Comsec is hereby directed to execute the oath for our new invited guest.
May I ask the newly invited resource persons in the plenary as well as in the Zoom to please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this joint congressional inquiry? So help you God. Thank you.
Comsec, pati po ba yung mga kasama natin via Zoom ay nakapanumpa rin, Comsec?
Yes, Your Honor. I specifically mentioned that those newly invited resource person attending the Zoom meeting should also participate in the swearing of oath.
Maraming salamat po, Comsec. Sa bahagi pong ito ng Blue Ribbon Committee o ng Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, atin pong pinapahalagahan ang pagdalo ng ating mga membro upang atin pong mahanap ang katotohanan sa gitna ng mga aligasyon sa Abs-Cbn na magiging mahalaga sa pagpapasya ng Committee on Legislative Franchises sa aplikasyon nito sa kanilang panibagong prangkisa. Muli, tayo po ay napapanood ng live stream sa Facebook page ng House of Representatives, gayon din po sa Facebook page ng inyong Congressman Kuya Jose Antonio R.C. Alvarado. Chairman Chikoy.
Atin pong itutuloy ang pagtatanong sa ating naiwang paksa kagabi, ang aligasyon paglabag ng Abs-Cbn sa mga batas paggawa. At kung matapos po ito, tayo po itutuloy sa pagtalakay naman sa aligasyong paglabag ng network sa mga batas sa pagbubuwis. Napakinggan po natin kagabi ang Abs-Cbn, ang mga pinatalsik na empleyado na naglahad ng kanilang mga naging karanasan sa Abs-Cbn, ang Dole at ganoon na rin si Mr. Sapaldito. Nais natin ang balansing paglalahad ng mga nangyari. Kaya nag-imbita rin po tayo sa mga papanig sa Abs-Cbn. Ito ay upang magkaroon ng balansing pananaw sa ating mga members. Chairman Jonathan.
Maraming salamat, Chairman Chikoy. Bago po tayo tumungo sa pagtatanong ng ating mga membro, atin rin po munang tatawagin ang kinatawan ng sentro, si Ginoong Benjamin Alvero III, at meron po siyang imumungkahing probisyon para mailagay sa House Bills na application ng prangkisa ng Abs-Cbn na inaasahan nating lalo pang magpuprotekta sa mga empleyado ng nasabing kumpanya. Mr. Benjamin Alvero ng Sentro, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor, honorable members of Congress and all those present. Ako po si Benjamin Miguel G. Alvero III, kasalukuyang pong campaign officer ng Sentro ng mga nagkakaisa at progresibong manggagawa. Ang sentro po ay isang national labor center na nagre-representa sa mga manggagawa sa sektor sa pampubliko, pribado at informal na sektor. Sa pamamagitan ng aming affiliate o kasaping federation, ang National Alliance of Broadcast Unions o NABU, napapabilang po ang Abs-Cbn rank and file union sa aming mga miyembrong union. Magsisimula po kami sa pagbibigay ng mensahe ng pakikiisa sa rank and file union at sa libo-libong mga manggagawa, empleyado, talent, technical personnel at kanila mga pamilya na kasalukuyang nangangamba para sa kanilang kabuhayan dahil sa banta ng non-renewal ng prangkisa ng Abs-Cbn. Naniniwala kami na dapat nakasentro ang ating pag-uusap sa prangkisa sa kapakanan ng mga manggagawa. Tulad nga po nung nangyari kagabi. Naniniwala po kami na dapat natin ito ituloy upang pag-usapan din ang kapakanan ng mga kasalukuyang empleyado ng Abs-Cbn Corporation. Ang magkaroon ng aabot sa 11,000 na manggagawa na humaharap ng pangamba sa kanilang kabuhayan sa gitna ng isang pandemya ay naniniwala po sa aming pananaw ay isang immoral, hindi makatao at simpleng maling pangyayari. Ang aming pong posisyon, hindi po dapat isaalang-alang ang seguridad ng mga manggagawa habang pinag-uusapan po natin ang mga espesipiko o mga posibleng violation sa prangkisa. Ang posisyon po ng sentro ay mas mapag-uusapan po ng mga representante sa lower house ang mga espesipiko ng prangkisa kung mas madali po itong proseso kung ating pong maigagaranti, maisisigurado na magagalang ang dignidad ng mga manggagawa, no, ng ABS-CBN. Paano po ito mangyayari? Marahil po, marahil po, no, masasabi po namin ang tanong, ang pangamba sa isip ng maraming mga manggagawang nakikinig ngayon, kung tatanungin ko po ngayon ang liderato ng lower house at ang mga representante na nakikinig ngayon, kung ating bang maipapangako sa mga manggagawa ng ABS-CBN na magagalang, makikilala ang kanilang mga trabaho, ang kanilang mga karapatan at CBA, at ang kanilang mga union bilang sole and exclusive bargaining unit sa dulo ng prosesong ito. No. Naniniwala po kami na dapat ito po ang ating siguraduhin. Kahit po, hindi po natin dapat i-sideline, no, ang kapakanan ng mga manggagawa. Marami dito na dekada nang nag-alay ng serbisyo in the service of the Filipino people. Ang suwestyon po, ang mungkahi po ng sentro upang maprotektahan, no, makilala ang dignidad ng mga manggagawa ng ABS-CBN ay ang pagdagdag ng mga explicit na pro-worker provisions sa prangkisang pinag-uusapan. Ang posisyon po namin sa sentro ay dapat ipagpasa ng isang pro-worker franchise. Ano po ang pro-worker franchise? Simple lang po. Naniniwala po kami na ang prangkisang pag-uusapan ngayon sa lower house ay dapat may nakasaad na mga klarong probisyon na kinikilala at pinoprotektahan ang karapatan ng mga manggagawang mag-organisa, maging regular, magpahayag ng saloobin, magkaroon ng makataong sahod, makatanggap ng angkop na benepisyo, marepresenta ng kanilang union sa board of directors at magkaroon ng isang sistema ng profit sharing. Bagkus, sa madaling salita, ang aming pong posisyon ay hindi lamang po kami humihingi ng simpleng pag-renew ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Ang aming pong mungkahi bilang representante ng mga manggagawa ay ang pag-aproba ng mas magandang bersyon. Isang bersyon na clearly pro-worker, sumusunod sa mga batas at kinikilala ang dekadang serbisyo ng mga manggagawa sa loob ng ABS-CBN, tulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, in the service of the Filipino people. Ano po ang mga spesipikong lengguwahe na aming pinapropose na isali sa pinag-uusapang prangkisa? Nagpo-propose po kami ng dalawang maikling seksyon na sasabihin, ipapresent ko po dito ng mabilisan. Una pong seksyon, the grantee, its successors and assigns shall guarantee respect for workers and trade union rights, including the workers' rights to self-organization, collective bargaining and negotiations, and peaceful concerted activities, including the right to strike in accordance with law. The grantee's workers shall participate in policy and decision-making processes of the grantee affecting their rights and benefits as may be provided by law. The grantee's workers are entitled to full employment, equality of opportunities, security of tenure, humane conditions of work, and a just share in the grantee's fruits of operation. Second section po na aming pinopropose, the grantee shall allocate at least 2 seats of the board of directors to the workers, with one of these being assigned to a woman. These seats shall be occupied by persons determined by the certified and exclusive bargaining agent or agents of the grantee's employees. No. Ngayon, ang susunod po na tanong bakit kailangan ng isang pro-worker franchise? No, mayroon po akong 3 punto upang pong suportahan itong argumentong ito. Una po, umamin na po ang ABS-CBN na hindi po silang perpektong kumpanya. Wala naman po institusyon na perpekto. Ngunit nangako po sila sa mga pampublikong deklarasyon at mga press release na committed sila to striving to maintain the highest level of integrity. So, klaro po sa mga nakaraan na diskusyon, na mga ilang buwan na po itong pag-uusap, na willing ang ABS-CBN na mag-improve na akuin ang kanilang mga pagkukulang kung mapapatunayan. So naniniwala po kami sa hangin ng sentro, kabilang ang mga manggagawa ng Rank and File Union, na complementary po ang proposed pro-worker franchise sa kasalukuyang effort ng ABS-CBN na pabutihin ang kanyang operasyon sa loob at labas ng kumpanya. Ikalawa po, naniniwala po kami na ang pro-worker franchise, ang paglalagay ng mga pro-worker provisions ay maaaring maging modelo para sa broadcast industry sa buong bansa. Naniniwala po kami na hindi lang po ito usapin ng ABS-CBN. Tulad nga po na naklaro kagabi, nasa unique position po ang mga kumpanya sa broadcast industry dahil sa kanilang sa uniqueness ng kanilang craft, sa uniqueness ng kanilang sektor. Naniniwala po kami na kung unique ang posisyon ng mga broadcast companies, di dapat unique din ang ating attempts na mag-regulate at magprotekta ng kapakanan ng mga empleyado na matatagpuan dito. Ayun. So, naniniwala po kami na ganoon nga po dapat. No? Tingnan po natin itong pro-worker provisions bilang stepping stone upang mag-guarantee, masigurado na protektado ang mga manggagawa sa buong industriya ng broadcast. Bilang panghuli, dahil po klaro po na ang usapin sa prangkisa ng ABS-CBN ay ay may klarong labor rights dimension, ang pinapropose po namin sa Honorable Chairman na i-invite sa mga susunod na labor deliberations ang mas malawak na kilosang paggawa. In particular, we suggest the invitation of representatives from the Nagkaisa Labor Coalition. The TUCP party list, the TUCP itself is part of this labor coalition, and we believe that they would be able to provide valuable insights and suggestions regarding labor rights in the franchise. So, to end, we urge the honorable representatives of Congress to stand for truth, fairness, and justice in this crucial moment, not only for ABS-CBN, its workers, but for our entire democracy. So again, to reiterate, we are for the granting of the franchise. But our position is that workers, the needs, the welfare, and the concerns of workers should be at the center of our deliberations. And we propose this policy intervention in the firm belief that this will improve not only the situation of workers in the broadcast industry as a whole, but the operations of all broadcast corporations. Pare-pareho lang naman po tayo ng gusto, makapaglingkod na po sa sambayanan. Siguraduhin naman po sana natin na sa proseso ng paglilingkod ay meron po tayong mga institusyon, mga agreement na kumikilala din sa dignidad at kontribusyon ng ating mga empleyado sa sambayanan. Ayun lamang po. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Speaker, and sa lahat po na nakikinig.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Alvero. Atin naman po sunod na pakinggan ang Presidente ng Original Filipino Music o OPM, si Ginoong Ogie Alcacid, para sa kanyang pahayag. Mr. Alcacid, you have the floor po.
Maraming salamat po. Ako po ba ay naririnig?
Malinaw po.
Maraming salamat po. To the Honorable Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, the Honorable Chairman Congressman Franz Alvarez, at sa ating pong kagalang-galang na Congressman at Congresswoman, isang mapayapang araw po sa inyo. Ako po ay si Ogie Alcacid, Presidente po ng Organisasyon ng Pilipinong Mga Awit, isang organisasyon na bumubuo ng 407 na members, 187 po ay active at 220 po ay inactive. Kami po ay isang NGO at tinutulungan po namin ang mga membro namin sa kanilang mga problemang legal at minsanan ay pinansyal sa abot po ng aming makakaya. Kami po ay nakikiisa sa ABS-CBN sa paghingi po sa inyo na bigyan po ang ABS-CBN ng pagkakataon na mabigyan ng panibagong prangkisa. Naniniwala po kami na napakalaki po ng naitulong at maitutulong pa ng kanilang mga music platforms upang matulungan po ang ating mga local singers at songwriters na maipalabas at maiparinig ang kanilang created content tulad ng kanilang mga awitin at ang kanilang pong mga performances. Napakarami na pong mga singer ang nabigyan ng pagkakataon na maiahon ng kanilang pamilya at mabigyan ng kaliwanagan ng kanilang mga pangarap na maging isang ganap na singer sa mga programa ng Channel 2 tulad ng Tawag ng Tanghalan, Philippine Idol, The Voice, at sa mga musical variety programs tulad ng Asap Natin To at Showtime. At ang mga songwriters po rin natin ay nasasalihan din po ang mga patimpalak tulad ng Himig Handog. Ang mix po, ang kanila po mga AM at FM radio stations at ang Star Music ay napakalaki po ng ambag sa pag-produce ng musikang original Filipino music. Nais ko pong i-quote ang ating pinagpipitaganang singer-songwriter na si Jose Marichan nung kanya pong sinabi sa amin that music is the language of the soul. Naniniwala po kami sa OPM na ang OPM po ang diwa po ng bawat Pilipino. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat. Good afternoon and God bless you all. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. Atin naman kung tawagin si Miss June Torrejon Rufino ng PAMI para po sa kanyang pahayag. Miss Rufino.
Good afternoon, honorable members of Congress. We, the officers and members of the Professional Artist Managers of the Philippines, hereby declare our full support and express our plea to the honorable members of the Franchise Committee to respectfully approve the application of ABS-CBN for the renewal of its franchise. Without the production employment from ABS-CBN, a significant number of tax-paying Filipino artists will be burdened by their subsequent loss of income. PAMI collectively having over 400 artists in their management rosters could easily represent over 5,000 families at any given productive time. Each manager and their artists employ several personnel and professional assistants for every project they are assigned by ABS-CBN. Multiply them with each having a family to support at the minimum. Beyond the satisfaction of being able to entertain the millions of Filipinos watching the programs of ABS-CBN nationwide, the joy these projects bring to the kababayans worldwide brings unquantifiable pride to us managers and our artists to be part of these top quality programs produced by ABS-CBN. In our own little way, we are deeply blessed and honored to be part of ABS-CBN's many ways to be in the service of the Filipinos worldwide. And it is our prayer that we will be allowed to keep on doing what we are truly and passionately love to do. We would like to strongly amplify our heartfelt request to take into consideration the loss of our source of livelihood and will undoubtedly have a very devastating impact to the 5,000 families within the PAMI universe should the franchise renewal be denied. It is therefore our humble plea to the Honorable Franchise Committee to find it in your hearts and consciousness the future of over 5,000 families who are dependent and hopeful for your affirmative decision in the franchise renewal of ABS-CBN. That's all. Thank you very much and God bless you all.
Maraming pong salamat, Ms. Rufino. Ngayon naman po ay ating pong para po sa kaalaman natin mga members, bahagi po ng ating mga resource persons ang mga nagsalita ngayon lang at pwede po natin silang tanungin mamaya. Ngayon naman po ay babalik po natin ang pag-preside kay Chairman Jonathan Alvarado. Chair Jonathan.
Maraming salamat, Chairman Chikoy. Tutungo na po tayo ngayon sa pagpapatuloy natin ng interpellation kagabi tungkol pa rin sa aligasyon ng paglabag ng labor laws ng ABS-CBN. Atin pong tatawagin si Honorable Mark Go at binigyan po siya ng karagdagang 5 minuto ni Congresswoman Tambunting. Congressman Mark Go.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Mark Go. I stand corrected. Hindi pala si Congresswoman Tambunting ang magbibigay sa iyo ng oras, kung hindi si Congressman Zarate, Gaite at Castro, kaya magkakaroon ka po ng 20 minutes in total, Congressman.
Marami pong salamat. Magandang hapon po sa lahat, sa ating pong honorable chairs, Chicoy Alvarez at Jonathan Alvarado, fellow members of the House, our resource persons, mga kaibigan, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Kahapon po, naimbita natin ang kaibigan natin na dating audioman ng ABS-CBN, si Mr. Christopher Mendoza. Kung siya po ay nandyan, gusto ko po siyang tanungin tungkol po sa kanyang binanggit kahapon. Nandyan po ba si
Nandito
Mr.
po.
Mendoza?
Nandito po.
Okay, salamat po. Kahapon, kayo po ay nagbigay ng iyong salaysay tungkol sa pagka-dismiss po ninyo sa inyong trabaho. Gusto ko pong malaman ngayon, Mr. Mendoza, kung ano po ang kasong ipinail ninyo laban po sa ABS-CBN, sa labor arbiter or sa NLRC.
Illegal dismissal po.
Ano po yung status ngayon ng kasong yan?
Nasa Supreme Court po.
So, 10 taon po at ngayon ay nasa Supreme Court.
Opo.
Ano po ang prayer natin dun sa ating ipinail na case laban sa ABS-CBN? Ang ibig sabihin, gusto po nating bumalik sa ABS-CBN. Yung po ba yung ating prayer dun sa complaint na finail natin sa ABS-CBN?
Before po, yun po ang namin, ang claim namin. Ang makabalik kami, makapagtrabaho lahat uli. Pero sa ngayon, sa akin po, ako hindi na po. Wala na akong balak bumalik. Gusto ko na lang pong makuha yung hustisya. Ibigay nila yung dapat na kinita ko nung taon ng 2010 until now. Mula nung ako'y tanggalin doon.
Okay. Doon po sa labor arbiter, ano po ang desisyon ng labor arbiter sa kaso ninyo? Nanalo ba kayo doon o natalo kayo sa labor arbiters level? Tapos sa NLRC, tapos demanding yan sa Court of Appeals.
Sandali lang po. Ang sa pagkakaalam ko po, nanalo po kami, tapos umapila po sila.
Nanalo kayo sa labor arbiters level.
Opo.
Tapos, dun sa NLRC, sa commission level, ano ang nangyari doon?
Ano sa dismissal na? Ito ba yun? Hindi, kailan. Kagalang-galang na congressman, pagpaumanin niyo po, wala po sa akin yung document namin. Ang narito po sa akin ay yung mga kasamahan namin na nanalo na. Kasama namin sa mga na tinanggal sa ABS-CBN. Ang nandito po sa akin ay entry of judgment from Supreme Court. Pangalan nila ay si Noel Macatuno, Ruel Dagli, Alan Karingal, Rodel Natividad, Floybert Agdinaway, and Oliver Gucor.
Yung po sa inyo, Mr. Mendoza, ano po yung sa inyo?
Wala po sa akin.
Pending ito sa Korte Suprema. Pero ang prayer ninyo ngayon, hindi na yung reinstatement, ang sa inyo na lang is payment siguro ng back wages.
Opo.
Pang benepisyo. Yung
Opo.
po ba?
Opo.
Okay. Ngayon, kahapon, ako'y medyo nabigla, pero umahanga ako po sa inyo kasi kahit na nangyari po yan sa inyo, ay binanggit ninyo na kayo ay pabor, no, in effect, na ipagpatuloy ng ABS-CBN ang kanilang franchise. Yung sinabi niyong no shutdown.
Opo,
Bakit po ganun ang inyong posisyon ngayon?
Bakit po? Or
Bakit? Bakit po sinabi kapon ilang beses
opo.
no shutdown to ABS-CBN?
Opo, sinabi ko po 'yun, no to shutdown po ako.
Mhm.
Pero
Bakit kayo?
pero
Bakit?
po kung may paglabag talaga, kung may mga violation po ang ABS-CBN, ang karampatang kaparusahan na dapat na igawad sa kanila ng kongresong ito, kung ang nararapat ay i-shutdown, bakit po hindi? Pero kung ako po, no to shutdown po ako. Yun po ang posisyon ko po.
Nabanggit naman ni President Carlo Katigbak na kung ano ang desisyon ng korte ay kanilang susundin. Ikaw ba ay satisfied sa ganong sagot ng ating ABS-CBN? Kung halimbawa ang desisyon ay bayaran o kaya reinstate ka bilang isang empleyado ng ABS-CBN, kanilang tutuparin yun at gagawin. Ikaw ba ay pabor sa ganong magiging desisyon?
Kung ano po ang desisyon ng korte, susunod po ako.
Okay, maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Gusto ko namang tanungin ang ating Undersecretary of the Department of Labor and Employment, si Yusek Ana Jone. Kahapon, binanggit ni Yusek Ana Jone na ang ABS-CBN ay fully in compliance with the general labor standards, occupational safety and health, and measures to ensure the security of tenure of its employees. Tama po ba yun, Yusek Jone?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, yes, that refers only to the inspection that has been conducted.
And you said that you do the inspection every 2 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Am I made to believe that in the previous years that you had the inspection at ABS-CBN, they are also in compliance and they have no pending issue that has not been resolved by ABS-CBN?
Your Honor, we've been, since the committee had been asking us previous years' data, we've been trying to look for those data, but ang data po ng aming bureau in charge of inspection is way back only in 2014. So wala po kaming record previously. So what we are referring to only is this year's 2018 inspection.
Okay, on that premise, would you consider that ABS-CBN is a good employer?
I cannot categorically say that because maraming factors din and we're only looking at the area that has been given us. I think I agree with the statement a while ago that there is no perfect employer.
But that's true. We are not looking here for perfect employer. We are simply saying or asking you as to whether you believe that ABS-CBN is a good employer.
If our basis would be...
You look at their, you have seen their salaries and benefits that they give to their employees. You look at the working conditions obtaining in the company when you visited the place. You have looked at several items in the operations of ABS-CBN. And when you say they are compliant, you have satisfied the requirements of law and at the same time of the department. And you have issued, you have put your signature into this statement, and therefore, I would like to ask as to whether you can consider that they are a good employer.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, if the basis is looking at the compliance that ABS-CBN did with the findings that has been done during this particular inspection, then my answer would be yes.
You know, many employers, even when I was in the private sector, I always look forward to the visit of an audit of the Department of Labor and Employment. And when we receive a positive response from the Department of Labor, and they say they're compliant. We are very proud of our company. That means that we respect and we believe that you are doing your job, and you have supported us in terms of the things that we have been doing. And therefore, the perception of many people, if the signature of the Department of Labor says that they are a compliant company or enterprise, they feel proud of this. They know that they can be proud also not only to themselves but to their employees. And the employees are very happy with this. Having said that also, would you recommend to this honorable joint committee to grant a new franchise to ABS-CBN?
How would I say? It's just like what I said last night. The focus now of the department is for employment preservation, and along that line, if the renewal would help, why not? But of course, the renewal or not would still belong to the decision of Congress.
But you will recommend or view it as a positive move if Congress will renew the franchise of ABS-CBN?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, our role here is to give inputs to Congress, and I think it's up to the honorable members of Congress to evaluate and make the appropriate decision.
You will have more problems if ABS-CBN will not have its franchise renewed. Can you imagine 11,071 employees who will lose their jobs will come to the Department of Labor and ask for help? Considering the situation that we are right now in this country, if that happens, you will have more problems. The problems will be transferred to you. That's why it's important that you take a positive action. By your statement that they are a compliant enterprise, you are in effect saying to us that we should really do and renew the franchise of ABS-CBN.
Yes. Mr. Chair, Your Honor, if I may go back, with respect, as I was saying, with respect to the inspection, after our findings and they have complied, then we say yes, they complied with the findings of our inspection. But, Your Honor, we also know that there are pending cases, not in the Department of Labor, but in the other agencies that has been shown last night. So I'd like the body, I'd like Congress to take a look at it that way, that if the inspection with respect to that routine inspection conducted, yes, we already issued our decision. But with respect to cases pending, I think that has also to be taken into consideration. There are cases pending in the Supreme Court. Even one of the case that is with us in the Bureau of Labor Relations, it's still a case. So, yun po, kailangan po kasing tignan na whole. Kasi pagka sinabi mong compliant totally, I think that's not a totally correct view.
Mr. Chair, ABS-CBN and its subsidiaries has 11,071 employees. Based on record, to date, there are 67 pending labor cases in different levels of government, NLRC, Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Okay, these cases were accumulated through the years. Can you imagine 67 with 11,071 employees in a period of 2 decades or so? I think what should have been done here is we should have immediate resolution of these cases. And as stated by Mr. Katigbak, they're willing to comply. If the department, or if the Supreme Court says that they should be reinstated, they will be reinstated. If the Department of Labor, in some of these cases that you have brought to them, should be complied with, they did. As you said, in January of this year, they did. What I'm only worried here is, on March 3, we conducted the hearing of the Committee on Labor and Employment, where I sit as a vice chair. Our chairman there is Congressman Eric Pineda. We heard so many companies that are terminating their employees. We invited Nokia, Wells Fargo, Philippine Airlines, Honda Philippines. And they told us that they're really laying off people. Honda is going to, or had already terminated, as of today, more than 300 employees. Nokia, 700. And the reason for Nokia why they are terminating 700 is because they are going to move their operation to India. No? Because they want to rationalize their people. Philippine Airlines, because of the situation, they laid off hundreds of employees. And in that forum, I was there. I interpellated all of them, and I begged, literally, for them to reconsider the decision. Here we are. We have problems. As the company said, it's not a perfect company. We had some problems with them. We are supposed to help them to resolve these problems. And I know that you will have more problems. Secretary Bello and all the other USECs, undersecretaries will have problems. We are going, the only thing we will do is approve their franchise. And we need the support of the Department of Labor here. Kasi kung paano natin ma-explain if all these 11,000 will come, some of them are in Baguio. I talked to some of our Abs-Cbn employees in Baguio and I asked them, what do you feel right now? They're all worried and they don't know where to have jobs after we do not approve the extension of the franchise of Abs-Cbn. And I really felt so unhappy when I hear all of this. And this is the opportunity for us to help this company so that we will not have problems. Can you imagine? The Philippine Statistics Authority has announced that the unemployment in this country as of April of this year is 17.7%. And this is equivalent to about how many millions of Filipinos who are going to or lost their job? In the millions. I have the data here with me, 7.3 million. And this is even aggravated by the underemployment. Can you imagine, instead of focusing on resolving these problems, you will have another 11,000 people. This is excluding our OFWs who are coming over to the country. How much income that we're gonna lose because of this? Napakadami niyan. Million. I heard that they're paying about close to almost $1 billion a month, or 600 to 700 million. That income tax that they pay. So it does not only affect those who are working, but even the government. How much taxes do they pay? So I think we cannot say, no, we are only here to monitor whether they comply or not. And it's up to you to approve or disapprove. I think it's high time that we are one in this endeavor. This is not only for Abs-Cbn. This is not only for the employees of Abs-Cbn. This is for all of us. I sworn when I got elected that I will do public service for our people. And this is one clear example that we should be united. If the Abs-Cbn has problems, let's help them resolve the problems. And they're willing. I saw the demeanor of Mr. Katigbak, notwithstanding the many questions that were raised. Makita mo, napaka gentleman niya sa sa pagsagot. And I know that this is a very humbling experience for him and the whole of ABS-CBN. But ito siguro, let's take this an opportunity to work together and help this company. We are helping all companies. We do not know what to do in Congress to create a package to stimulate the economy. Eh dito, nandito na. Tapos, pababayaan pa nating masira. E paano natin may papaliwanag yan sa 11,071 families who will come to us, who will go to the Department of Labor, to us in Congress? All my constituents in Baguio are now working with ABS-CBN. What will I tell them? I will tell them, no, because Gabi Lopez is not a citizen of the country. Yung ganon. I think this is the time that we should be united. Let's forget the divide between whatever. Mr. Chair, medyo naging emotional tayo, but I think it's high time that we work together in this situation. I always believe we are worried of what's going to happen to our country. We are losing people. Can you imagine how many millions we're going to expect to lose? 7.3 last April, and this will increase. And this is the time. Let's protect the jobs. This is not only for ABS-CBN, this is for the entire country. And we want to help this country, let's help ABS-CBN keep its franchise. And if there are problems that we saw, let's correct them. And I will help them correct all these things. And they're willing. We heard them. All of them said that whatever is the decision, they will follow. It's, of course, this is on top of all the other problems, you know, the entertainment that they bring, the information, the educational impact that they create with their programs. Mr. Chair, after things are said and done, I think it's not what we debate today that matters. It's the impact of our debate to our people. And if we want to be relevant, responsible in the delivery of service to our constituents and to our people, it's high time that we decide to renew for another 25 years the franchise of ABS-CBN. We will not be only helping their people, but the entire country. Can you imagine a country without ABS-CBN? I cannot imagine. So, Mr. Chair, I think I will end my my interpellation at this point, and I appeal to my fellow members of the House that we should support ABS-CBN in this. I would suggest that as soon as possible, we approve this in this committee and have it discussed in the plenary, and we will ask everybody to support this particular bill. Again, thank you very much at magandang hapon sa inyo lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Congressman Mark Go, sa inyong linya ng pagtatanong at sa inyong pag-aapila sa ating mga kasama. Bagamat sa araw pong ito, puwera po kahapon ay meron po tayong 28 na kinatawan o kongresista na nagpalista ng kanilang kagustuhan na magtanong. Kaya kung atin pong mamarapatin na idirekta po natin ang pagtatanong sapagkat lahat naman po ay nananawagan na mas mabilis nating mahusgahan ang pagbibigay ng prangkisa o hindi pagbibigay ng prangkisa sa ABS-CBN. Ang susunod po na magtatanong ay ang ating kasamahan, Congressman Reynaldo Democrito Mendoza. Nandito po ba si Congressman Mendoza, Comsec? Pakitingnan po via Zoom. Kung po hindi pa online si Congressman Mendoza, ay tutungo naman tayo kay Congressman Ron Salo na binigyan ng oras ni Congressman VG Lacson, Congressman Kanama at Congressman Abuel Saldivar. Kinatawan Ron Salo, nandyan po ba kayo?
Nandito po ako.
Maaari na po kayong magsimulang magtanong.
Maraming salamat po, Chairman. Magandang hapon po sa bawat isa po sa inyo. Magandang hapon po sa mga source persons po natin ngayong hapon. Una ko pong tatanungin, pwede po bang matanong po sa ang CEO po nila, si CEO Katigbak?
Maaari po.
Mr. Katigbak?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo. May mga ilan lang po akong lilinawin. Ilan po yung total employees po ng Abs-Cbn?
Pakiulit lang po yung tanong, Mr. Chair, hindi ko po narinig.
Ilan po yung total employees ng Abs-Cbn?
Yung buong ABS-CBN po, pati yung mga subsidiaries po namin is 11,071. Yung mga empleyado ng ABS-CBN Corporation lang po, yung broadcasting network is 5,918 po.
5,908. Kasi kinukompare ko po ito, Mr. Chairman, dun sa PSA disclosure po ninyo sa page 19. So anong taon po yung binabanggit po ninyo as of the moment, Sir Katigbak?
As of the end of 2019 po.
End of 2019. So ang kabuuan po ay?
11,071 po.
Yung sa ABS-CBN subsidiaries po yan?
Kasama po yung subsidiaries, yes po.
11,779.
11,071.
Regular sa non-regular?
6,705 po.
Ang regular?
Yes po. 6,705.
Ang non-regular?
Project employees po is 2,208 and independent contractors po is 2,158.
Okay. Meron po, familiar po ba kayo doon sa inisyong ni BIR Commissioner Dulay, doon sa request po ni Solicitor General? Meron po siyang inisyo dated February 21, 2020, si BIR Commissioner Dulay. Wala po akong official copy pero nakita ko lang po ito sa nakapost sa Facebook. Pwede pong ma-request po si COMSEC, baka pwede nilang ipakita. Forward ko po kay COMSEC po ito. At binabanggit po dito, Mr. Katigbak, ng ABS-CBN Corporation and Convergence, ang total employees is 4,401. Yung ABS-CBN Corporation lang is 4,322, 79 yung Convergence, ABS-CBN Convergence. So nais ko lang i-confirm kung alin ba exactly, alin yung tama, alin ba yung pinag-uusapan po natin, bakit magkaiba po yung nakadeklara sa BIR.
Mr. Chair, kung pwede lang po, if I can ask Mark Nepomuceno to be recognized to answer your question.
Sige po.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Honorable Congressman. We submit two BIR reports, Your Honor, annually to the BIR that covers our headcount. These reports are 1604CF and 1604E. So for the entire group, yung all 17 companies, yung 1604CF showed that we had 8,809 regular and project employees. Yung pong 1604E showed that we had 15,466 independent contractors and suppliers po. yung ano po yung pagkakaiba ng numerong ito dun sa numero namin, na sinabi namin. The BIR reports show all the individuals and suppliers that were paid for the entire year of 2019. Anumang buwan sila nabayaran, masasama sila sa report na ito. So yung total po nitong 1604CF at 1604E is 24,275. What is the significance of this number po? Ano? This number shows the number of jobs that ABS-CBN creates within a year. So for the year 2019, ABS-CBN created 24,275 jobs. Ngayon po, yung numerong 11,071, those were the number of workers that ABS-CBN hired for the month of December 2019 only, para sa buwan lamang ng December 2019. So, roughly...
Lilinawin ko po yung nakasulat po dito. Pinadalan din po ako ni COMSEC. Ang sabi niya dito, ni Commissioner Dulay, address naman kay Chairperson Franz Alvarez, please be informed that based on the remittances made to BIR as reported in BIR Form 1604CF for TY 2019, the total number of employees of ABS-CBN Corporation is 4,545. Because ito po yung concern ko po, bakit hindi po nagtutugma yung binabanggit po ninyong numero ngayon?
Ito po.
Hindi rin nagtutugma yung filing sa SEC at hindi rin nagtutugma sa BIR. And hindi ko lang alam po kung sinire-report din po niyo ito sa DOLE, kung may numbers din yung DOLE. Hindi ko lang alam kung pareho rin.
Opo. Ito po, ano? For ABS Corporation alone, yung 1604CF, so for the year 2019, the number is 4,340. 1604CF lang po yun. For broadcast, ABS-CBN broadcast network only. Yung numbers na binasa ko po kanina is for the entire group of companies, composed of 17 companies. So yung 1604CF namin, for 2019, for broadcast corporation only, is 4,340 po. At nadagdag po dito yung...
Sa ABS-CBN Corporation, na pinag-uusapan po natin, ang employees po ninyo is 4,500 something.
Anong saan galing? Saan? Saan? Hindi, 4,500 something daw. Di ba? Yung 4,500 or 4,442 yata yun or something like that. Kasama doon, idinagdag po rito sa 4,340 yung ABS-CBN convergence. If you could look at that number po, hindi ko po hawak yung tinitingnan nyo.
Siguro i-flash po ni COMSEC kung po pwede. Dalawa po actually itong document na ito. Yung document na ibinigay po niya kay Solicitor General at document na ibinigay po niya kay Chairman Franz Alvarez. And makikita po natin hindi po pareho. At the same time, hindi rin po siya nagtutugma doon sa binabanggit po ninyo na numero ever since, na 10,955 or 11,000. So hindi ko exactly alam kung ano ba talaga yung numero na pinag-uusapan po natin when it comes to employees po ng ABS-CBN.
No, hintayin ko lang po ma-flash yung numero. Mr. Chair, Your Honor, nakita po rito yung sinubmit ni Commissioner Dulay is 4,545. Yun po yung tinutukoy nyo, no?
Opo.
Okay. Based on 1604 CF... ito po. Okay. Sige, sorry po. Okay, thank you. Opo. So, based on the 1604 CF for 2019, the number indicated here is 4,545. Based on our records po, yung sinabit po namin 1604 CF for 2019 is 4,340. So mas mababa po ng 115 yung numero namin. I don't know why hindi nagtutugma yung numero po. Pero batay rin po sa 1604 CF namin ito.
Anong ibig sabihin po ba noon kapag dineclare ninyo sa BIR na 4,300 something yung employees po ninyo?
Opo.
Hindi ba dapat yun yung employees as employees? Bakit iba po yung binabanggit po ninyo ngayon na 11,000?
Okay. So, yung binabanggit ko pong 4,340, yun lang po ay para sa ABS Corporation. Yung 11,071 is for the entire group of companies within ABS-CBN. Kasi yung grupo...
Okay.
Opo.
So, klaro po tayo ngayon. Kasi every time kasi na binabanggit po ninyo from the very start, si CEO Katigbak, binanggit po niya yung 11,000. So, kapag itong issue dito sa ABS-CBN Corporation Broadcasting, ang pinag-uusapan po natin dito para klaro ay 4,300 ilan po?
4,340. Pero wala pa po doon yung mga independent contractors na tulad ng mga artista, creative writers that ABS hires on an annual basis, ano?
Okay. So pupunta po tayo doon. Ilan po 'yon?
So 4,035 for independent contractors.
Excuse me, Congressman Ron Salo, bago po sumagot si Attorney Nepomuceno, nabanggit niyo po na ABS-CBN Group of Companies.
Opo.
Ano-ano pong mga kumpanya yung bumubuo po sa ABS-CBN Group of Companies, Attorney Nepomuceno?
Hindi po ako attorney, sir. Okay. That is
Mr. Nepomuceno.
Opo. That is ABS-CBN Corporation, ABS Convergence Inc., ABS Film Productions, ABS-CBN Global Limited, ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation, ABS-CBN Shared Services Limited, ACJO, ABS Themed Experiences, Cinescreen, Creative Programs Inc., iConnect Convergence, Play Innovations, ABS News Channel, Sky Cable Corporation, Big Dipper Digital Content, TV Food Chefs, at The Chosen Bun.
Maraming salamat po. Ipagpatuloy mo na po, Congressman Ron Salo.
Maraming salamat po sa binanggit po ninyo. So, ilan po lahat po yon? So, yung 4,340, attorney, lahat po ito regular employees, tama po ba?
Yung 4,340, batay sa 1604 CF for 2019, covers only the project and regular employees. Marami po kaming hina-hire na independent contractors na nakabilang sa 1604E. Doon sa independent contractors na yon, na nakabilang sa 1604E, that is 4,035. So that brings, for ABS Corporation lang po, no? For ABS Corporation lang po, that brings the number to 8,375 employees and independent contractors.
Okay. So, 8,375, ito na yung kabuuan na pinag-usapan po natin, regular employees, project contractors, talents o independent contractors. Tama ba yun?
For the ABS-CBN Corporation po, that is correct po.
Okay. So, klaro, based doon, bakit hindi po sila nakakasama dun sa, kung yun yung binabanggit niyo po ngayon, bakit hindi sila kasama dun sa fina-file sa BIR?
Kasama po sila dahil
4,340 lang po yung naka-reflect po sa BIR.
Dalawang reports po ito, no? May 1604CF tsaka 1604E. Wala pong isang BIR report na binubuo yung project employees, regular employees, at independent contractors. Kaya dalawang report po ang sinasubmit namin. So yung one report covers the project and regular employees, the other report covers the independent contractors. So doon po nanggagaling yung numerong yon.
Okay. So ang total number ng project employees is 4,035. Tama ba yun? Binanggit niyo po kanina?
Independent contractors po yon, 4,035, based on 1604E.
Kapag 4,035,
4035.
4,035, ito yung mga project employees.
Independent contractors po yon.
Independent contractors.
Opo.
Ang tawag po ninyo sa kanila.
Opo.
Independent contractors, sila rin ba yung binabanggit ninyo na talents?
May mga kasama doon na tinatawag na talents. Ito yung mga on-camera, yung mga artista. Nandyan din yung mga creative writers, directors. So yung classification po na yan ay yung classification ng BIR. So doon po sila pumapasok.
Hindi ko maintindihan, actually, pasensya na po kayo, attorney, hindi ko masituate exactly, makuha yung totoong numero. Dahil iba rin po yung naka-add sa PSE disclosure po ninyo na nasa page ng Abs-Cbn. Ang binabanggit po doon is 3,325 yung talents ng Abs-Cbn at lahat ng subsidiaries niya. Pero ngayon, lumalabas po sa inyo, binabanggit po ninyo 4,340 yung independent contractors. So mas malaki, ibig sabihin, based doon sa sinabi po ninyo ngayon, mas malaki po yung independent contractors, yung in actual, than what is being written doon sa PSE disclosure po ninyo. Ganun yung intindi ko. Am I right?
Hindi ko po hawak yung PSE report, but if that is the case, then tama po yun. Mas malaki yung nasubmit namin sa 1604 CF for the year of 2019 and 1604E for the year of 2019.
Which I don't understand actually, attorney. These are very important documents. Bakit hindi po sila magtutugma? These are also documents that we file to various regulatory agencies. Magkaiba lang po silang regulatory agency, BIR, tapos nandun sa kabila naman ay PSE o kaya sa SEC. Bakit hindi po sila magkakatugma o magkakapareho?
May I consult your honor? Hold on lang po. Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, your honor, the variance could come from the difference in timing, the date of the PSE report versus our year-end 2019 report.
Di pa masyadong malaki namang variance po yon, attorney. Kung pag-usapan po natin 2019, actually yung PSA disclosure 2019 din. Then yung binabanggit niyo po kanina rin na document, sabi po ninyo based sa 2019 din. And yet, you're giving us different figures. So alin po dapat talaga yung susundin natin? Kasi nung nagsalita rin si President, CEO Katigbak, iba rin yung numero na binabanggit niya. So how do we reconcile these numbers? So at least we exactly know ilan talaga yung pinag-uusapan po natin.
Based on the 1604 CF and 1604E, ito yung final namin sa BIR. We don't have the PSE report with us now.
Nasa website po ninyo yon, doon po nakuha. Nonetheless, alin yung susundin natin for the purpose of this hearing? Yung po bang final sa BIR?
I would say po sa BIR dahil yun po yung mga may remittances at withheld taxes.
Yun, that makes me think also, attorney, yung mga hindi nare-remit, hindi nababanggit doon sa disclosure sa BIR, ano ibig sabihin po noon? Hindi po ba tayo nakapag-remit ng kanilang corresponding taxes?
For the independent contractors po, because they are considered self-employed, they take care of their own remittances po. We only withhold the contractor's tax on the independent contractors. So ganun po yun.
Siguro kung okay lang po sa inyo, attorney, mas maganda kung hihingi na lang po kami sa inyo ng detailed na disclosure kung ilan po exactly yung pinag-uusapan po natin ng mga employees po. Kung okay lang po sa inyo, para ma-compare na rin po natin at hindi kami makukonfuse. Kasi we will be using different numbers based kung saan po ninyo final. Ngayon, siguro for one purpose, bigyan nyo na lang po kami.
On June, all the BIR.
Sige po. We submitted to the committee in June 15, 2020, all the BIR reports po. Pero sige po, yun po siguro yung suggestion nyo po.
Ilan po yung nakasulat po doon na total doon sa sinabit po ninyo?
Ito rin yun, di ba? Ito rin pong binanggit ko.
Ito rin yung binanggit po ninyo. So ilan yung regular independent contractors? Regular is 4,340.
For ABS-CBN Corporation lang po, ano?
Contractors is 4,035.
Sige.
So,
For ABS-CBN Corporation lang po, for 1604 CF, it's 4,340.
Okay.
For 1604E, 1604E counts independent contractors plus suppliers.
Okay.
Okay. Yung number po na makikita nyo doon sa 1604E is actually 9,151. Hindi po binibiyak ng BIR yung independent contractors sa suppliers. So kami na po yung bumibilang doon.
Klaro po yan, attorney.
Okay, sige po.
Hihimayin po ngayon yung datos na 4,340. Ang sinabi niyo po kanina is comprised of regular employees and project employees.
Opo.
Ilan po yung regular employees po doon?
Ang regular employees po doon, hindi. That's our December count. Sandali lang po, no?
Opo.
Yeah. When this is submitted to the BIR also, this is not split. But based on our count for the month of December 2019, we had 2,661 regular employees. Count po namin to, no, for the month of December 19.
2,661
versus 1,600 and 1,641 project employees.
Okay. So basically, sabi ninyo ngayon, 2,061 ang total na regular employees po ninyo. But you have a total of 8,375 employees, including independent contractors o yung mga talents.
Hindi po, hiwalay po yung independent contractors pa.
Yes, and suppliers, 4,035. Yung binanggit ninyo po kanina.
Yung independent contractors doon ay 4,035. Tama po.
Yes, yes. Tapos, kapag kinumpit ko po ngayon, sa totoo lang, kapag kinumpit ko po yung regular, project employees plus your dependent contractors, that translates to more than 6,000. Pero yung regular employees po ninyo is only 2,061. Kapag kinumpit po ninyo ito, ang regular employees po ng ABS-CBN, sa totoo lang, is only 24.6% lumalabas.
Opo, and that is due to the nature of the industry po?
Yes, I completely agree. Ang sinasabi ko lang po ngayon, ang regular employees po ng ABS-CBN Corporation, broadcasting is only 24.6% of the total number of its employees.
He's adding this one.
And yan nga eh.
So ina-add niya to with that one. So it comes up.
Yeah.
Anyways, siguro compute nyo na lang po, pero sinasabi ko, based on my computation now, I have a calculator, 24.6 lang po yung regular employees po ninyo. Well, of course, you will argue that it depends because of the industry. Subalit, ang nakikita ko po rito, hindi ko pa masyadong maliit yung less than 1/4. Yung sa total employees po ninyo, ay regular.
I agree, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I agree that the number of regular employees compared to the project employees plus independent contractors will be a smaller percentage. What that exact percentage is, so, po, Your Honor, when we reconcile the numbers, we can arrive at that.
I ask you to reconcile. Pupunta po ako sa next question ko po.
Opo.
So far, ilang labor cases ang final laban sa ABS-CBN since 1995?
For that, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, may I ask that Attorney Uy be recognized?
Please.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I request for the question to be repeated? I did not understand it.
Ilan pong labor cases ang final laban sa ABS-CBN Corporation Broadcasting simula noong 1995 nung naibigay po yung prangkisa?
I don't have that data, Mr. Chairman. What I do have is the number of pending labor cases at the moment, which is 67.
67 labor cases.
That are pending at the moment, Mr. Chairman.
67 cases. Ilan pong employees lahat po yan?
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman?
Ilang employees ang involved doon sa nag-file ng 67 cases na yon?
The number of workers involved, Mr. Chairman, are 302.
Pardon?
302 workers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So 302 cases. Itong binabanggit po ninyo na 302 cases at 67 cases, simula noong 1995 ba ito o ito yung current, ito yung ngayon lang, yung buhay na kaso?
Those are the current pending cases, Mr. Chairman, from as far back as 1996.
As far back as current pending. So ibig sabihin, hindi po ito kasama yung mga na-resolve na.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Pwede rin ba kaming makahingi? Since 1996 po yan to present, is it safe to assume na mas marami yung na-resolve kaysa pending?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Pwede po ba kaming makahingi ng listahan ilan talaga yung kaso na final laban sa ABS-CBN? Ilan yung employees involved from the time that your franchise was granted? Ilan na yung na-resolve? Ilan po yung pending? Yung pending, at least you've already given me, it's 67 cases ang pending ngayon. I suppose these are pending in various courts or agencies or tribunals and at various stages. And there are 302 employees involved. Ano po yung kadalasan na rason bakit sila nagpa-file?
Mr. Chairman, the reasons or the basis for the various cases are different. There are cases that are filed of employees who were dismissed for violations of the Code of Conduct. There were also cases filed by employees who were dismissed for failure to qualify for regular employment, those who were engaged as probationary employees. There were also cases filed by employees who failed performance appraisals and were dismissed. And also there were cases involving questions of status of engagement, and also there's a petition for certification election, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mukhang sunod-sunod at sabay magkakasunod yung mga nagpa-file ng mga labor cases laban sa ABS-CBN. Kasi nag-handle din po ako previously ng mga cases sa ibang kumpanya and hindi naman ganoon karami, quote-unquote, yung mga cases. So, ito ba'y peculiar sa industry?
No, Mr. Chairman. As was stated earlier, these cases accumulated over the years, the earliest of which was in 1996. Considering that ABS-CBN has approximately 6,000 workers, and the cases were filed over a span of 25 years, Mr. Chairman. So 67 pending cases is not a high number, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Pero kung papansin po ninyo, 67 cases yung pending, hindi po kasama po rito yung mga resolve na. 67 divided by 25, that translates to almost 3 per year. Imagine, a corporation being filed by its employees almost 3 times every year. Ito lang po yung current, ito yung pending. Hindi na natin pinag-usapan po yung mga na-resolve na, which I suppose because these long years, mas marami na po yung na-resolve. So, imagine every quarter almost may kaso na fina-file. And yet, ano po yung action na ginagawa para ma-address these labor issues?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, we need to consider that ABS-CBN engages approximately 6,000 workers. So if we're going to compute percentages, the number of workers over a span of 25 years should be considered, and not just the number of years.
I completely agree. That's the reason why hindi ko na po binabanggit, Mr. Chairman, yung mga number of employees. Ang binabanggit ko lang po actually is the number of cases being filed. Kasi kapag pinag-usapan po natin yung number of employees, there are more employees who actually have been filing cases. Ngayon, pupunta po ako sa tanong ko ngayon, sino yung mga considered na talents o independent contractors?
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman?
Sino po yung mga sino po yung tinutukoy o kinukonsider na talents ng ABS-CBN?
Talents, Mr. Chairman, are those who are engaged specifically for the production of television programs.
Talents. Sino po ang mga yon kung babanggitin po ninyo? Yung mga actors.
Your Honor, can I take the question?
Yes?
Opo.
Yung pong mga artista, I suppose mga talents po yon.
Opo, yung mga artista po, mga dancer, mga performers po namin, mga singer, yun po ang mga talents.
Performers, singers, yung mga scriptwriters, I suppose, talents din po sila.
They're intellectual property creators po. They're program-based
Mga reporters,
independent
anong status po nila?
contractors.
Anong consideration sa kanila?
The reporters, Mark, are regular. The reporters po are regular employees.
Reporters are regular employees.
Opo, Your
Cameraman.
Honor.
Cameraman.
Ang cameraman po, program employees po if they are assigned to a specific program. Regular employee po if they are assigned to the studio and attached to the facilities and the studios.
Pakiulit po.
Your Honor, may ibang cameraman po na program employee, they are attached to a specific program, they are engaged for a specific program. There are cameramen po who are regular employees because they are attached to the studio and facilities. So anuman pong programa ang gawin sa studio, kailangan nila pong trabahuin. So yun po ang regular.
So dalawang status, pwedeng regular, pwedeng non-regular.
Opo,
Yung audio
pwedeng
man.
Program
Audio
employee po. Ang audio man po, program employee po.
Program employee. So ibig sabihin po nito, considered hindi po sila regular, talents po sila, tama ba?
Your Honor, we were able to veer away from talent production, calling talent the production or engineering personnel as talents. Kaya po kami nagpapirma ng program employee contracts. So ang naiwan pong tinatawag
bago po
naming
tayo pupunta
talent.
po dyan, ika-clarify ko lang po ma'am, ano yung mga categories po ng mga to, then pupunta po tayo doon.
Opo.
Audio man, mga drivers.
Mark, the driver.
Drivers.
Third-party contractors po.
Contractors ang drivers.
Opo.
Videotape recorders. Mga recorders.
Ang reporters po ay regular.
Recorders are regular.
Opo.
Lightman.
Program employees po.
Program employees. Camera control.
Kung studio po sila, CCU sa studio, regular po sila.
Naputol po yata, Mr. Chair.
Ay, Your Honor.
Kung Salo? Siguro balikan na lang natin si Kong Salo. Pag naka-connect siya ulit, isingit na lang po natin siya. Ngayon siguro, lipat muna tayo kay Congresswoman Tambunting para sa kanyang interpellation. Congresswoman Tambunting, you're recognized.
Paki-unmute po ako.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon to our chairman, Honorable Chicoy Alvarez, and Honorable Jonathan C. Alvarado, and to all our colleagues. Mr. Chair, I would like to ask a question to any of the lawyers of ABS-CBN. Sino po sa mga lawyers ng ABS-CBN ang pwede ko pong tanungin?
Pwede niyo na po, siguro ma'am, pwede niyo na po diretso tanongin.
Okay.
Sino na po na...
It was mentioned yesterday. Yes, Chairman. It was mentioned yesterday that ABS-CBN has regular employees. Ito na naman yung, although kabisado ko po ito, pero tatanungin ko po ito para maintindihan po ng madla kung ano ba talaga. Regular employees, program employees, and independent employees. Kahapon pa po ito na pag-uusapan, pero it was also mentioned how this is the setup as it is industry practice and given the uniqueness of the industry. My question to ABS-CBN is, has DOLE ever prohibited ABS-CBN from having program employees or independent contractors? Has this practice been declared illegal?
Mr. Chair, there was never an instance that the Department of Labor has found this illegal. As a matter of fact, no less than the Secretary of Labor and Employment came out with Policy Instruction number 40, which clearly defines that there are two kinds of employees in the broadcast industry, one of which are studio employees and the other set would be called program employees.
Okay. Precisely. It has not been declared illegal because having project employees, program employees, and independent contractors is legal under our laws. It is because our labor laws recognize different kinds and forms of employment. To ABS-CBN, another question. Isn't it true that you have program employees or project employees because when a show or program ends, you cannot simply put the talents in another ongoing show because may mga talents na rin po yung mga show na yon. Or, halimbawa, meron kayong natapos na show, hindi naman pwedeng ilagay sa bagong show because it is still being conceptualized. Can you confirm this, ABS-CBN?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. The intention of the company is always to have shows that will last for as long as possible, but in reality, some programs do succeed and air for months or even years, but sometimes there are shows that cannot even finish one season or 13 weeks because the ratings are poor, so they have to stop the show.
Okay, precisely is it true that having program employees in fact protects the rights and benefits of these employees, especially considering many of them are freelancers? Ito nga po ang tanong ko. Halimbawa, nasa kontrata sila and the contract is supposed to last for some time, but the show is shelved earlier than it's supposed to be shelved. Are they paid for the contract duration still? ABS?
Mr. Chair, once a program ends, the talent fees also end. The compensation also ends.
Okay, so that is the contract.
There,
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I would like to ask a question to our friends from Dole. Yusek, Anna, I'm sorry, is Yusek Anna still there?
Nandiyan pa po siya, ma'am. Sige po.
Okay, to our friends from Dole, as mentioned earlier, according to the statement of Dole Secretary Silvestre Bello III on the April Labor Force Survey posted on Dole website on June 5, 2020, the unemployment rate rose to 17.7% or 7.3 million unemployed Filipinos in the labor force in April 2020. This is a record high in the unemployment rate, reflecting the effects of the COVID-19 economic shutdown to the Philippine labor market. In addition, the labor force participation rate among Filipinos 15 years and older is estimated at 55.6% in April 2020. This is the lowest in the history of the Philippine labor market. That is almost 1 out of 2 working age Filipinos who are not employed nor looking for a job. Undersecretary, Madam, can you please confirm this information? Yusek?
Hello? Naririnig
Yes,
po ako.
Yusek.
Yes, yes. Mr. Chair, Your Honor, yes, that figure is, the figure quoted by the Secretary is released by the PSA.
Okay, para maintindihan po natin na mas maigi, Madam Yusek, ilan po ba talaga ang nawalan ng trabaho ngayong COVID? Ngayon, as of today, ilan po ang nawalan ng trabaho?
I don't have the figure. I'll ask yung aking kasama.
Wala kayong rough estimate, ballpark figure, kahit ilan? 2 po bang nawalan ng trabaho, Madam? 3, 4, 5 million po ba?
Your Honor, if I remember, the reports coming from our regional offices, that is being reported by establishments, is running between 90 to 100,000 na po.
Yusek, ang nawalan ng trabaho sa Pilipinas, 100,000 lang po during itong pandemic. Parang mali yata, Yusek. 100,000 lang po. Sa companies ng mga kamag-anak namin, medyo malaki-laki na po.
Yun po yung retrenchment figures that is being submitted to us.
Yusek, I will request for a report on that, please.
Yes.
Kung ilan po ang nawalan ng trabaho sa Pilipinas para makita po natin yan. Talagang ilan po ang nawalan ng kanina. I listened to my colleague, si Vice Chairman Mark Go, at yung kanyang report ay medyo substantial ang nawalan ng trabaho. At muntik po ako naiyak sa report na yon. So, Undersecretary, I would like to request for a report on that.
Yes, sir.
Maaari lang po.
Yes po, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor. In an hour, I'll give it to the Secretariat po.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po, Yusek. Ang susunod kong tanong ay para sa isang kaibigan ko na ibigyan ko po ng pagkakataon na makapagsalita. Si Ma'am Cory Bidanes. Ma'am Cory?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am Cory, ano po ang nararamdaman ng mga kasamahan po ninyo sa trabaho ngayon na malapit na po ang posible nilang retrenchment?
Your Honor, nakakalungkot pong isipin na malapit na ang posibleng retrenchment. Napakabigat po sa puso at damdamin naming lahat. Ang mga kapamilya namin ay puno ng pangangamba at takot sa kinabukasan, para sa kinabukasan nila at kanilang pamilya. Sinabi po ninyo kanina, Your Honor, na mahirap talaga maghanap ng trabaho sa panahon ng pandemya. Yun po ang bumabagabag sa mga puso nila. Pero, Your Honor, patuloy po sila na nagdadasal, sumusuporta at umaasa na ma-renew ang aming franchise para po makasigurado sa kinabukasan ng kanilang mga pamilya at para po makapagpatuloy kaming magserbisyo sa mga Pilipino sa pamamagitan ng aming mga programang nagbibigay impormasyon, edukasyon, inspirasyon, pag-asa at saya. Yun lang po, Your Honor.
Thank you po, Cory. I would just like to manifest, Mr. Chair, that we are in the middle of an unprecedented employment crisis in our country. The greatest labor problem is unemployment. Masakit po na makita ang ating mga kababayan na walang trabaho. Lahat po tayo dito sa Kongreso ay naghahanap ng paraan para makatulong sa ating mga kababayan na walang trabaho dahil sa COVID-19 crisis. I hope that when the committee decides on the franchise, we will consider the many employees whose livelihoods are dependent on our decision. As mentioned yesterday, the management of ABS-CBN has undertaken and commits to continue to undertake reforms. Let us give them a chance to implement these reforms. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Congresswoman Sambunting. Ngayon naman po, balikan po natin yung naputol kanina. Congressman Ronzalo, nandiyan na po ba kayo? Kong Ron? Paki-unmute si Kong Ron. Comsec, paki-unmute po. Hello? Sino may hawak ng technical natin? Paki-unmute po dahil sa sarili ninyo.
Okay na po ako, Chairperson. Maraming salamat po. Pasensya na po kayo. Maraming salamat po, Chairman. Babalik po ako doon sa pagtatanong ko po sa ABS-CBN po kanina. Yung kausap ko po kanina, sino po ang pangalan po nila from ABS-CBN?
Si Cory po.
Yes, Ms. Cory. Ang kanina, pinapa-identify ko po sa inyo kung ano pong status ng mga employees. Yung pong makeup artist, ano pong category po nila?
Independent contractors po.
Makeup artist, independent contractors?
Opo, self-employed po.
So, ano po ba yung lumalabas dito? Kapag nasa specific program po sila, they're considered independent contractors. Kapag nandun sila sa studio, sila po yung tinatawag po na regular employees.
Your Honor, may I explain? If they are engaged for a specific program po, they are called program employees. But
yes,
if they are attached to the studio and facilities po, they are regular po. I'm
Okay.
talking about po the
Klaro
crew and
po yun.
the
Pag-attach po sila doon sa facilities na binabanggit po ninyo, then they are regular. Kapag hindi po, doon attach sila sa specific program, then they are considered independent contractors.
considered program employees po.
Okay. Program employees or independent di ba hindi sila regular? Sino yung hindi regular?
Opo, pero po iba ang program employees sa independent contractors. Ang independent contractors po na program-based ay creatives po namin, director, writers, at ang on-camera artists. They are program-based independent contractors po.
Okay. So program-based po sila at hindi sila considered regular employees. Tama po ba yun?
Tama po yun, Your Honor.
Kahit na paulit-ulit po silang gumawa at ilang taon po sila na nire-renew, paulit-ulit nire-renew at ilang taon po silang nagtatrabaho dahil attached po sila doon sa programs, various programs na kinikreate po ng Abs-Cbn, they would still be considered non-regular employees. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Maraming salamat po doon sa paglilinaw na yon. So kahit tumagal po sila, that's the reason why yung mga nandyan po na nag-file ng mga kaso dahil binasa ko rin po yung mga cases that we filed before various agencies at yung mga iba pending ngayon sa Supreme Court, ito tama po yung sinasabi po ninyo, they're considered actually talents doon sa kanilang sinasabi. Well, sabi po ninyong kanina, you've already decided not to use the word talent. May I just inquire, kailan po nagsimula po yun na hindi po na po sila tawagin na talent?
2010. 2001 po, Your Honor.
2001.
Opo.
Pero bakit yung mga nag-file po dyan, nandyan pa rin po, ang tawag pa rin po sa kanila, they filed it sometime 2006 ata po yun, and they were still considered to be talents at that time.
Sorry, Your Honor. I think I misunderstood your question. Was your question about the independent contractors and program employees po? Because we started...
Yung kanina, binanggit po ninyo kanina na hindi na po niyo ginagamit yung word talents para dito sa mga cameraman, audioman, drivers, videotape recorders, lightman, camera control, mga makeup artists, kundi mga independent contractors. Tama ba?
Your Honor, kasi po, ang makeup artist po, independent contractor po yun. Ang kalakaran po ng industriya noon, ang tawag po sa mga program employees are talents lang po, na walang mga kontrata.
Ito po yung isa sa nais ko pong banggitin, ano po. Kaya umiiyak yung puso ko actually when there was a time na interview po ako sa ilang studio. Tinatanong ko po kung matagal na po sila yung mga nagme-makeup po sa akin. At ang sagot po nila sa akin, kahit matagal na po ako rito, hindi naman po ako regular employee. Kahit na make-upan po lahat ng mga pupunta dyan sa show, o kahit yung mga artista o kung sino man yung nag-guest dito, at required ako, under the control ako, I'm still an independent contractor. Ngayon pupunta po ako sa Dole. Kay Yusek. Yusek, Ana?
Yes po.
Opo. Tatanungin ko po kayo, ano po yung pamantayan kung kailan sinasabi na regular employee ang isang manggagawa at hindi?
Yun pong pamantayan natin according to the labor code ay yung pagka nag-serve po siya, he was engaged to render services beyond 6 months and 1 day, ay regular na po siya.
And at the same time, hindi ko lang alam kung may kopya po kayo, Article 280 ng Labor Code, anong sinasabi po niya doon? An employment shall be deemed to be regular for the employee has been engaged to perform activities which are usually necessary or desirable in the usual business or trade of the employer. Tama ba yon?
Yes po.
Apo. Nakabase po ba yung pagiging regular niya doon sa kanyang place of assignment?
Hindi po.
Tama, hindi po, di po ba? Whether or not assigned po siya doon sa specific program or specific doon sa studio, it doesn't matter under the law. Tama ba yon?
Yes po.
So, ang pamantayan, whether or not that particular employee is performing a work that is usually necessary or desirable in the usual business or traded employer, then he would be considered a regular employee. Ngayon, sa tingin po ninyo, Yusek, sa business na or dito sa industriya ng broadcasting, yung po pang cameraman, ito po ba necessary and desirable na piniperform?
Your Honor, before we go further, yan po yung issue that is in the certification election. Nag-decision na po ang...
Yes, precisely, Yusek. Ito po yung tinatanong ko nga po, based sa inyo po, bilang undersecretary po ng DOLE. Tinatanong ko nga po kayo, sa industriya ng media, yung po pang cameraman, necessary po ba ito sa usual business or desirable na business or traded employer?
Yes po.
Yes. Yung audio man, mahalaga po ba to? Necessary po ba ito?
Opo, kasama po kasi yan. Lahat po ng trabaho na ginagawa para magkaroon ng production ay necessary po.
Ulitin po ninyo, yung lahat po ng mahalaga sa paggawa ng production ay
necessary and desirable po.
Necessary. And based po sa Article 280 ng Labor Code, ilan po ba, yung binabanggit ninyo rin po kanina, kung nakapag-render po siya ng gaano katagal? 6 months.
6 months and 1 day.
6 months and 1 day. And ito rin po yung makikita po kasi natin, that's exactly the reason bakit po tinanong kanina kung ilan po yung mga kaso. And hindi po nakapagtataka na paulit-ulit po yung mga nagpa-file in a year, ilan po yung cases na pina-file laban po dun sa employer, specifically sa Abs-Cbn, because hindi po, mukhang hindi po talaga sumusunod dito sa pamantayan na nakasad po sa Labor Code, Article 280. Ngayon, first, ang sabi ko nga na ginamit ko pong rason ay isang example po kanina, yung makeup artist. Imagine a makeup artist, isang dekada na po na mag-make up sa lahat po ng mga guests na dumarating po doon. And yet, considered talent po siya. Talent noon, ngayon ang tawag po sa kanya independent contractor. And he would not be considered a regular employee. Despite kung yung function din po niya necessary and desirable at kung yung control na kanino nandun sa employer. So, with that, Mr. Chairman, ito lang po yung nais kong sabihin. Yes, dinidinig po natin, Mr. Chairman, yung prangkisa ng Abs-Cbn at nakikinig din po tayo doon sa kanilang undertaking that they will be a better company in case, in the event that we will be granting this particular franchise renewal. But nonetheless, kailangan po nating himayin at tingnan that indeed, yung pinaglalaban po ng marami po sa mga employees po nila ay may basihan. This is the reason why I filed my bill at sineset ko rin po na minimum dapat na regular employees should be 60%. Dahil based dun po sa computation na ginawa po natin kanina, lumalabas na sa dami po ng employees po nila, and yet, while they are necessary and desirable in the performance of their functions and then the business of the employer, hindi po sila regular employees. And 24.6 lang po lumalabas ang regular employees po ng Abs-Cbn. With that, Mr. Chair, maraming pong salamat at bibigay ko na po yung pagkakataon para doon sa mga iba na magtatanong.
Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, may we be recognized, please? I think there's a need to clarify, Mr. Chair, what broadcasting is all about, because there seems to be an impression that automatically broadcasting is equated to production of shows, which is not correct. Because a franchise is only granted for the maintenance, creation, operation of TV and broadcast studios. And the purpose of broadcasting is in fact transmission of programs via radio and television. So what actually a company does is invest in studios and transmitters. Hindi po necessary na kapag ikaw ay nasa broadcasting industry, may sarili kang shows na gagawin. In fact, pag nagsisimula ang isang kumpanya, ang nangyayari po niyan ay nagla-license sila ng content madalas. Bumibili sila ng mga soap operas abroad at pinapalabas dito sa ating bansa. And also, they have contracts with other companies to co-produce shows o di kaya magkaroon sila ng block timer arrangement.
Mr. Chairman, just a comment on the comment of the
just 1 minute. 1 minute. Chairman Chikoy?
Yes.
Yes, Chairman Chikoy, the Honorable Remulla would like to interject.
Kung Boying, pwede bigyan natin ng 1 minute lang para wrap up lang natin si Attorney Alonso and then
Mas baka mawala lang kasi yung yung thought natin The thought process kasi was called into play by the remarks of the lady lawyer from ABS-CBN.
Thank you. Attorney Alonso.
I just wanted to clarify that even under policy instruction number 40, the broadcast industry has in fact been divided into regular or studio employees or station employees rather, as well as program employees who belong to a work pool. And following the decision in Maraguinot versus Viva Films and citing the Manila Hotel decision, all of these people who belong to the program employees are members of a work pool and are regarded as regular seasonal employees, which also apply to project-based employees insofar as the continuity of their employment, which is only defined by the duration of the project that they are attached to. So in other words, there is security of tenure during the duration of the project. They don't have any regular working hours, and they are allowed to enter into employment contracts with other companies kapag nag-end po yung proyekto nila. The broadcast industry is very unique in the sense na marami po mga tao na nai-involve sa maraming multiple projects. Meron pong mga tauhan na nagtatrabaho sa isang TV show ng Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at kasabay nun sa Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, nagsushoot din po sila ng pelikula. So these are people who are part of the work pool, which has been recognized by no less than the Supreme Court as a valid mode of employment, but it is only until the duration of the activity that they are attached to and for as long as it lasts. Pati po sa desisyon ng Nazareno versus ABS-CBN, ganun din po ang nakalagay that they are regarded as regular insofar as that particular activity is concerned and for as long as it lasts. So kapag natapos po yun, balik po sila sa work pool, mag-aantay po pa ng panibagong proyekto at kapag nagkaroon na po ng panibagong project, magra-run po ulit ang tenure nila. So
Mr. Chairman,
sorry.
May I now
Kung Boying?
Yes, in other words, Attorney Alonso, ang sinasabi nyo, kung meron kang pangarap na maging regular para ikaw makabili ng bahay, huwag ka na lang pumasok sa ABS-CBN kasi 20% lang ang chance mo na maging regular employee. Yun ba sinasabi nyo?
I would not know how to...
Kasi sinasabi nyo, ang broadcasting, you invest in studios, you invest in equipment. Ang human resources is not important. Parang yun na sinasabi nyo nung opening statement nyo. Ano yung una sinabi nyo? In the nature of broadcasting, you invest in studios, you invest in equipment, where you import canned programs that you will broadcast for content.
I was only trying to clarify, Mr. Chair, that it is not automatic that when you engage in the broadcast industry, you produce your own shows.
In other words,
but if you do produce
the human
your own
dimension
shows,
of ABS-CBN does not really make the investment in human resources very important. Hindi mahalaga human resources, mas mahalaga sa inyo yung makina nyo, yung transmitter nyo, yung camera nyo, yung tao. Pwedeng labas-pasok, mas mahalaga yung gamit.
hindi po. Meron din po kami
Kasi kagaya niyan, we have a actual case here, no? Si Journally, isa cameraman. Alam na ba natin, pag news and broadcasting and meron kayong gumagawa kayo ng mga intellectual property na mga bagong programa, kailangan nyo lagi ng cameraman. Am I correct or not?
I'm sorry, what was the
Basta
last?
meron kayong locally produced program, you always need a cameraman. Am I correct or not? Ms. Vidanes, tama ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you always need a cameraman because if it's news and current affairs, the angles by which you take the pictures of the hosts or the anchors, importante yung cameraman. Tama ho, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ganun din naman, pagka gumagawa kayo ng sabihin natin, probinsyano o terserye, mahalaga rin ang cameraman.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kaya ang inyong trabaho, meron talagang kailangan nyo na mga katulad niyan, necessary and desirable, ang trabaho ng cameraman. Tama o mali?
Lahat po ng trabaho namin ay necessary.
Honorable Boying,
Your Honor.
our guest, sorry. Session suspended. Thank you. With the indulgence of the Honorable Remulla, those points will be raised again during his time to interpolate our guest. So may I now go back to our chair, the Honorable, I relinquish the presiding duties to our chair, the Honorable Chikoy Alvarez.
Kung Mike, ano mo natin, hearing resume po muna natin.
Sorry. Hearing resume.
Diretso na po tayo kay Congresswoman Biolago para po sa kanyang interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon to everyone. But first, I would like to greet happy birthday, Vice Chair Mike Defensor.
Thank you, Honorable Biolago.
I have only po a few questions. My first question is for Sir Christopher and Sir June. Kayong dalawa po. Ang gusto ko lang po malaman, may trabaho po ba kayo ngayon?
As of now, Your Honor, meron po. Sa panahon ngayong COVID, natigil po dahil sa COVID, pero syempre may trabaho tayo.
Kayo po, Sir Christopher, may trabaho po kayo ngayon?
Ngayon po, meron po. Meron po kami.
Next question ko po sa inyo, saan po kayo nagtatrabaho ngayon?
Ako po, freelance cameraman ako sa GMA. At saka sa mga pelikula, commercials.
Kayo po, Sir
Ako po,
Christopher.
meron po kaming burger station sa Novaliches po.
So, it means po hanggang ngayon, kayong dalawa po ay hindi pa rin regular employee. Tama po ba?
Sa GMA po, ang estado ko po roon, isa rin po, in case nalatagan ako ng regularization, tatanggapin ko. Pero so far, dahil nga po nakafile ang case ko sa ABS, inaalagaan ko rin po, minarapat dapat ko na tumanggap muna bilang sideline para hindi makaapekto sa kaso ko sa ABS dahil hindi nga po ako abogado, pero kailangan kong mag-ingat para sa patuloy na nagtatrabaho ko.
Salamat po, Sir June. Kayo po, Sir Christopher.
Ako po, tumutulong po ako sa kapatid ko. Family business po.
Family business po.
Opo.
Correct me if I'm wrong, 1995 po ba kayo pumasok sa
Opo.
Abs-Cbn? So, noong 1995, may kontrata po ba kayong napirmahan?
Wala po.
Wala. Kayo po, Sir June?
Wala pong contract. Noong 1997, kumbaga 1996, trainee cameraman ako. So 1 year ako nag-train. 1997, doon ako ni-recognize as talent cameraman without benefits yun. Tapos hanggang 2002 na nag-file ako ng case. Pero yan ho, studio, remote ang trabaho namin. So gusto ko po yung i-clarify doon kasi tulad na sinabi ni Ma'am Cory, pag remote, ikaw ay talent or program employee, pero studio, ikaw ay regular employee. Ang nakakasama kong mga trabahador na mga cameraman, audioman, lightman, yung iba regular, yung iba talent. So I have my evidence here na breakdown ng aking payslip way back that time na studio, remote studio. So ibig sabihin 24 hours taping na kami sa labas, Makakatulog lang kami ng 2 oras, 3 oras, diretso kami ng studio. Pagkatapos, kinabukasan, remote na naman. So talagang continuous po yan.
So, ibig pong sabihin, parang nagtatrabaho kayo ng 7 days a week, ganun po ba?
Opo,
more than-
mahigit pa nga po eh.
Okay. Salamat po. Kayo po, Sir Christopher.
Ganon din po. Kung magkasama po kami sa location or sa studio, segue po eh. Galing kami ng remote, mas lalo pagkakulang ang tao sa studio. I-idlip ka lang po sa, meron po kaming bat cave dun sa ABS.
So,
Pag oras na, studio ka naman po.
So, ibig po sabihin, you work also for 7 days, more than 8 hours.
More than.
Okay po. Pero aware naman po ba kayo nung kayo po ay nagtatrabaho na kayo ay considered program employee?
Your Honor, nung umpisa kasi, siyempre nung kabataan natin, pag sinabing Abs-Cbn, talagang masisilaw ka dahil napakagandang kumpanya, respetado. Actually, ang isang nag-udyok sa akin dyan na mag-file ng case, isang nagturo sa akin sila din. Kasi unang-una, sa mga news reporting nila, madalas bumabati ko sila ng mga kumpanya na hindi nagre-remit ng tamang wages sa mga manggagawa na kung matatandaan nyo, kasagsagan, ang galing nila bumira ng bumira. Nung sa part ko na po, hanggang kailan ko ililihim ito? Na kung saan may pamilyang umaasa sa akin. Parang ganun po.
Opo. Pero in some instance po, during 1995, until nag-file kayo noong 2010 ng case against ABS-CBN.
Your Honor, 2002 pa lang po nag-file na kami.
2002.
Ng
Kayo po, Sir
regularization
Christopher.
case. Opo.
2002 din po.
Opo, sabay-sabay po kami nag-file.
Is there any case o instance na kayo po ba ay nakipag-usap sa pamunuan ng ABS-CBN? Nagkaroon po ba ng dialogue between the employee and the employers?
Your Honor, maraming beses na po. Ibig sabihin, minsan nire-reach out na po namin hanggang sa humihiling kami ng mga meetings. May mga nagkaroon pa nga po ng mga chat with the chairman. So, yung hinaing namin, pero still, yung stand nila, hindi para sa mga manggagawa. May time na rin ho, sakto po nandito yung Senro, yung nagre-represent ng NABU. Usually, kinikilala nila yung mga regular employee in different channels. Pero ako, bilang cameraman, bilang kabaro nyo sa trabaho, ako ay talent. One time, umattend ako ng meeting ng National Alliance Broadcasters Union. Yun ho ang isa sa mga ikinasasama ng loob ko. Na kapag regular employee ka, medyo may askad ang dating. Pero nung humarap kami, sabi ko, humarap ako rito bilang cameraman at hindi po ako regular. Ano ho ba ang magiging pananaw nyo sa katayuan namin, nakaparehas lang tayo ng ginagawa?
Thank you po. Mr. Chair, I would like to recognize Attorney Maxim para po i-clarify lang sa atin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng regular and program employees.
Attorney Maxim, sir.
A legal declaration of the relationship between an employer and an employee. Article 280, which was mentioned earlier, supposedly as the basis for determining whether or not a person or a worker should be considered a regular employee, is in fact not the proper basis for making such a determination. The Supreme Court has ruled that Article 80 is not the yardstick for determining whether or not a worker is a regular employee. In the case of Singer Sewing Machine Company versus Honorable Franklin Drilon, a case that was decided as early as 1991, GR number 91307, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "The court finds the contention of the respondents that the union members are employees under Article 280 of the Labor Code to have no basis. The definition that regular employees are those who perform activities which are desirable and necessary for the business of the employer is not determinative in this case. Any agreement may provide that one party shall render services for and in behalf of another for a consideration, no matter how necessary for the latter's business, even without being hired as an employee. This is precisely true in the case of an independent contractorship as well as an agency agreement. court agrees with the petitioner's argument that Article 280 is not the yardstick for determining the existence of an employment relationship because it merely distinguishes between two kinds of employees, regular employees and casual employees, for purposes of determining the right of an employee to certain benefits, to join or form a union, or to security of tenure. Article 280 does not apply where the existence of an employment relationship is in dispute, unquote. Together with this, Mr. Chairman, the court has said, Supreme Court has said that management has the prerogative to outsource any activity to independent contractors. What this means is any activity of any business can be outsourced to independent contractors or can be given to employees, regular or project employees. Therefore, the necessity and desirability of any activity in any business is not the measure or is not determinative of whether or not a worker should be considered a regular employee. We take particular note of the statement of the resource person, Mr. Payonan, that he works presently as a freelancer or as an independent contractor. Mr. Chairman, I think this is a confirmation that engagement as an independent contractor is legal and valid, despite the functions that Mr. Payonan performs. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Just a point, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Congressman Villago. I think it's unfair for Tony Maxim to point out to Mr. Bayongan, Journalin, as an example of making it legal. Because in this case, it was his choice. It was his choice to be an independent contractor. In the case of Abs-Cbn, he wanted to be a regular. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Congressman Villago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir June, ilang taon na po kayo nagtatrabaho sa GMA as a freelancer?
Mula po nung tinanggal nila ako noong 2010 until now.
2012 po?
10 po, 10.
10.
Opo.
Since 2010 until ngayon po, freelancer kayo ng GMAs as cameraman, ganun po ba?
Opo, at hindi lang po sa GMA, mapa-commercial para makasurvive lang.
Okay po. And my next question po sa inyo, bakit hindi nag-offer ng regularization sa inyo ang GMA?
Kasi po, siguro by that time, nung mga panahon na yon, kung ano lang yung pangangailangan doon sa project na yon, yun po hinahire kami pag kulang sila ng mga cameraman during that time. So hinahire po kami.
So hanggang ngayon po, hindi kayo hinihingi ng regularization sa GMA?
Nilatagan po kami regular program employee. So tinanggap namin kasi unang-una may benefits, binigay po yung benefits as regular employee, regular program employee, at bukod roon, mas 4 times na mas malaki ang offer na bayad kaysa nung panahon na nasa ABS ako, na yung trato nila as program employee sa akin, pero 4 times double ang mas mataas na rate na binibigay ng GMA.
Di nakabuti po sa inyo. Ano po?
Kaya po tinanggap ko siya.
So kung kayo po ay regular program employee na ng GMA, so correct me if I'm wrong po, so hindi na kayo pwedeng tawaging freelancer. Tama po ba? Kasi
Opo,
regular na kayo eh.
Opo. At pangalawa po, kasi nakasad rin po sa condition na yon, yung mga benefits na nakalatag sa amin.
Kaya hindi rin kayo dapat gumagawa ng nagtatrabaho sa commercial kasi regular employee kayo. So, hindi ho kaya kayo din ay may binabiolate?
Ang as per GMA naman, as long as committed kami sa programa nila, okay sa amin na gumawa ng ibang trabaho sa labas. So, ganun sila kaluwang sa amin. Unlike po sa ABS na hindi ka kinilalang regular employee, pero naka-tie up ka sa kanila, hindi ka pwedeng rumakit sa labas.
Okay po. Salamat po to inform everyone na maganda po pala ang pamamalakad ng GMA. Ano po? And then my next question to both of you. Sa tingin niyo po, sa inyong pananaw, bilang nagtrabaho ng matagal mula sa ABS-CBN, ano ho kaya ang dahilan ng ABS-CBN para hindi kayo gawing regular na empleyado? Dahil sa akin pong pagkakaalam, ang ABS-CBN po, kahit kayo ay program employee, pwede kayong maging regular. Saan ho kayang dahilan, bakit hindi kayo naging regular employee? Sa inyo pong palagay, ano po ang... Kasi po ang tingin ko, kung kayo ay skilled and you do your job properly and good, bakit naman hindi kayo magkakaroon ng tsansa na maging regular? Kaya in your own opinion, ano ko kaya ang nakikita nyong dahilan? Bakit hindi kayo naging regular na empleyado?
Sa ako po muna, bago po si Samson, kasi magkaibang departamento kami. So kasi po, sa totoo lang, ang environment ng mga manggagawa dyan sa tulad ko mga cameraman, alam ho ng karamihan ng mga kasama namin na ako ay may mga kasama kaming regular employee na which is syempre sila yung mga seniors. Pag ikaw ay nakikisama sa kanila sa mga gimmick nila or in ka sa kanila, ibig sabihin may chance na pwede kang ma-regular kasi mas dikit ka sa kanila. Although parehas kayo ng ginagawa. So may mga ganong status. At the same time, syempre, hindi naman kaagad na pag naisip mo, magpa-file ka ng case. So nandyan na minsan binubuo nyo na halika, mag-file nga tayo. Bakit sila merong ganitong hanggang sa nakita nila sigurong threat ako. Kaya wala ho akong offer nung pag-alis nung tinanggal kami. Yung iba inoferan pero ako parang na-single out ako na although pinatawag ako pero walang offer na nilatag sa akin na ganito ang gagawin. Automatic tinanggal na lang po ako. So nakita nilang threat ako kasi talagang very vocal ako para sabihin ko yung karapatan namin bilang manggagawa.
Sir Christopher, para po may pagkakataon din kayo ma-explain kung anong dahilan at bakit tingin nyo, bakit hindi kayo naging regular ng ABS-CBN?
Siguro po ang dapat tanungin ay ang ABS-CBN. Kasi po, sa akin, sa parte ko, ginawa ko po ang nararapat na bilang isang empleyado nila. Nag-shoot po ako 7 days a week. Minsan po, umaabot pa ako ng 1 buwan. Meron pa pong, gumawa pa nga kami ng kanta dyan dati ng 1 linggong pag-ibig Dahil dire-diretso po kami, wala po kaming pahinga. Galing ng remote, diretso studio, kinabukasan, remote na naman. Pagbalik mo ng studio, may Big Brothers, lahat po ng programa po, hinahawakan namin sa studio o mapalabas. Ang tingin ko po, siguro kaya hindi nila kami ma-regular or ma-regular. Isa po, ang tingin ko, pagtitipid, na maling pagtitipid. Tinitipid po nila kami. Ako po, madalas po nila akong pinadadala sa ibang bansa para mag-shoot ng mga programa. Abroad, Asia, halos naikot ko yung Asia. Tapos, huling remote ko, Lovers in Paris sa France. Ilan lang po kami. Isang programa yung sinushoot namin. 3 lang po kami na dapat ay 7 katao. Pagtitipid po yun. Hindi po makatao po yun. Ang dala naming equipment ay napakarami. May ilaw, may camera, may audio. Katulong pa minsan kami ng mga sa production, kung ano yung gamit ng production. So, tingin ko isa sa factor ay pagtitipid nila. Kahit maging sa pagkain po namin sa remote o mapa-studio, iba po yung pagkain nila, iba yung pagkain namin. Sa amin naka-styro, sa kanila parang laging may birthday, laging buffet, parang. So, siguro, sa akin, ayun masama loob ko, Kaya nag-file ako ng case kasi hindi na po makatao, hindi ko na yung turing nila bilang isang kapamilya, hindi ko po maramdaman. Ayun ang hinahanap ko po. Sana po, para sa mga manggagawa, Ma'am Cory, para po sa panibagong prangkisa niyo po, ayusin na po niyo lahat. Maawa po kayo sa mga manggagawa niyo. Kay Sir Gabi, alam ko nanonood ka, Sir Gabi. Pasensya na po para po sa panibagong prangkisa, Sir Gabi, ayusin po niyo lahat ng gusot. Kayo po ang nagdala po sa akin dito sa Congress na to. Hindi ko po inakalang makakarating ako dito sa Kongreso. Kung hindi niyo po ako, kung tinrato niyo akong isang tunay na kapamilya, wala po ako dito nagsasalita laban sa inyo. Ayusin po natin kay Sir Carlo Katigbak. Sir, sana po sincere yung yung paghingi niyo ng tawad sa Pangulo o yung sabi niyo handa kayong ituwid ang pagkakamali. Siguro po ito po yung time para po sa sinasabi niyo mga manggagawa niyo. Para sa lahat po ng mga manggagawa dito sa Pilipinas o sa abroad. Sa DOLE, panawagan ko, ayusin po natin ang sistema. Kawawa po ang mga manggagawa. Pagka merong katulad ng ABS-CBN, isang institusyon, sa Congress po, sa mga mambabatas po, na gumagawa po ng batas, humihingi po kami ng tulong sa inyo bilang isang mga manggagawa. Panahon na po, baguhin na po natin yung mga maling kultura po. Hindi po natin madadala po ang pera.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Christopher.
Salamat din po. Pasensya na po.
Gusto ko lang din po sanang tanungin si John and Paul, ang union heads po, kung kamustahin naman ang kanilang work conditions nila.
Mr. Paul, you're recognized.
Ako po ba, Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead. Kayo po ang presidente ng union, no? Ano po?
Pakiulit po yung tanong.
Gusto ko lang lamang po malaman kung ano po ang work conditions nyo ngayon sa ABS-CBN.
Sa akin, masasabi ko na maayos yung kondisyon ng trabaho namin. Yung relasyon, kung tinatanong nyo po kung relasyon sa management, masasabi ko rin po na maayos. Kasi po, kami po ay may respeto sa isa't isa. Kami po ay patuloy ang pag-uusap. Hindi po kami nagsasara ng pinto o hindi kami nagsusunog ng tulay sa kanila. Patuloy po yung pag-uusap namin. Katunayan po, minsan po sa broadcast industry tripartite council meeting, napansin po nung taga-kabilang istasyon yung relasyon namin ng management. Kasi po yun, ay meeting po yun ng management and labor. So napansin nung taga-kabilang istasyon, nagpayag siya, naiinggit siya sa relasyon namin kasi ang lapit-lapit daw namin sa management. Sabi ko, yun nga, pinayuhan ko sila na respeto lang kasi sila hindi ganun yung relasyon nila sa management. Katunayan, kada isang kibot lang, nagpapalagad sila ng reklamo sa NLRC. So, yung mga bagay na maliliit, hindi nila napapag-usapan, nare-resolve dun sa local nila. Yun po.
Maraming salamat po. My last question po is sa DOLE kay Secretary Ana. Andito pa po ba?
Department of Labor is recognized.
Yes.
Secretary Anna, my last question po is, in your own humble opinion, sa inyo pong pagkakaalam, meron po ba na nilabag ang ABS-CBN sa Labor Code? Maraming salamat po.
Katulad po ng sinagot ko kanina kay Kong Marco, may iba-iba po kasi opisina na humahawak ng mga kaso. So, if you say labor code, buo po yun. So, as I said, tungkol po when it comes to the inspection conducted in 2018, nag-comply po sila. But there are pending cases po, and at labor code provisions din po yun. So, we have, sa amin po sa dole proper, ang pending po ay yung certification election, na nandun sa Supreme Court ngayon. Pagkatapos po yung NLRC, per the report na sinadmit, may pending po silang mga isa yata. So, yun po. So, kung ang tanong ay they are compliant, kailangan pong tignan natin yung pending cases na nasa iba't ibang offices at different stages.
Maraming salamat po, Yusek Ana. Pahabol na lang po. Sabi nyo nga po, sa ibang larangan, wala silang violation, hindi nyo masasabi lahat kung talaga bang totaling wala silang violations. Ang may last question na lang po sa inyo. Sa inyo pong opisina, nasa inyong lamesa, alam nyo naman ang records ng pending cases and the dismissed cases ng laban sa ABS-CBN. Sa tingin nyo, mas marami ba ang na-dismiss o mas marami ang pending cases tungkol sa violations ng ABS-CBN?
Sa ganang amin po, wala na pong pending sa aming opisina. Lahat po ay na-desisyonan na po.
Pakiulit po, parang hindi ko masyadong naintindihan.
Pag dito pa sa aming opisina, wala na pong pending. Ibig sabihin na desisyonan na po namin lahat.
So, ibig sabihin walang pending, na-desisyonan nyo na lahat, so it means it's already dismissed. Ganun po ba yun?
Yes po.
Ma'am, ang tanong po ni Congresswoman Villago, anong mas maraming case ang nanalo at natalo ata po sa ABS? Yung po ba, Congresswoman Villago?
Opo, kasi gusto ko lang po malaman kung sa mga case na na-final against ABS-CBN, mas marami ba yung na-dismiss o mas marami yung pending cases?
Maybe I would refer to the NLRC cases. Attorney Perez, nasa Zoom din po yata siya, if he can answer that.
NLRC Attorney Perez is recognized.
Attorney Perez, naka-unmute na po.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor. Based po sa aming records from 2017 to 2019, with respect to illegal dismissal with money claims, in favor of labor po is 60%, or in favor of the workers, and 40% in favor of the ABS-CBN or management. That is with respect to the labor arbiter level. Pero kung titingnan po natin ang datos sa Supreme Court from 2006 hanggang 2019, meron po kaming nakita na nanggaling sa labor arbiter, ito po ang 4 na kaso. Pag-gitin ko na rin po para sa informasyon po ng lahat. Noong 2006, ABS-CBN versus Nazareno, ito po ay tungkol sa illegal dismissal. Ang decision po ng labor arbiter are regular po ang employee. So pagdating po sa Supreme Court, regular po. So natalo po ang ABS-CBN dito. Sa pangalawang kaso ng Colache et al. Versus ABS-CBN ng 2010, ang decision po ng NLRC ay illegal dismissal. Pagdating po sa Supreme Court, sabi ng Supreme Court, illegal dismissal. Talo po ang ABS-CBN. Ng 2012 sa Imbong versus ABS-CBN involving illegal dismissal case, ang decision po ng NLRC is illegal dismissal. Pagdating po sa Supreme Court, valid po ang dismissal. In this case, ABS-CBN won. Sa next case po, sa Tulio versus ABS-CBN ng 2019. Ang issue po ay illegal dismissal. Ang decision po ng NLRC is valid po ang dismissal. Pagdating po sa Supreme Court, valid po ang dismissal. Panalo po ang ABS-CBN. In 2019 of July, ABS-CBN versus Hilario, ang issue po ay illegal dismissal. Ang decision po ng NLRC is illegal dismissal. Pagdating sa Supreme Court, illegal dismissal. So talo po ang ABS-CBN. And then yung last po is 2019, by August 2019, yung De La Rosa versus ABS-CBN, ang issue po ay illegal dismissal. Ang decision po ng NLRC is illegal dismissal. Pagdating po sa Supreme Court, sabi po ng Supreme Court, valid ang dismissal. So panalo po ang ABS-CBN. So dito po sa nabanggit kong 6 na kaso na dumating sa Supreme Court, 3 po ang panalo ng ABS-CBN, 3 din po ang talo nito. So yun lang po, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, last na lang po. I would like to recognize Mr. Raul de Asis, please. Mr. Chair, nasa Zoom yata si Mr. de Asis.
May we know from what office? Mr. De Asis is recognized. ABS-CBN?
Supervisors President Union. Union President ng Supervisors po.
Union President of the Supervisors, Mr. De Asis. With your nudges, Mr. Chair, is recognized.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, ano po yung tanong?
Congresswoman Villago, may tanong po ba kayo kay Mr. De Asis?
Gusto ko lang po kasi maklarify yung tungkol sa union cases or union leaders po ng ABS-CBN. Gusto ko lang po marinig yung side ng ating union leader regarding dun sa trato ng ABS-CBN sa kanila.
Salamat sa pagkakataon niyo, Mr. Chair. Since I took up union supervisor as a president, ang relasyon din po namin ng management is continuous through LMC. Lahat po ng problema po namin ay na-solve through LMC. At yan po ay natutugunan kaagad ng management. At kami po ay natutuwa sa Supervisors Union dahil sobrang open po ng management sa mga tanong na usapin. At patungkol naman po sa aming mga miyembro, sila din po ay open sa mga kung ano man mga pag-uusap. At kami naman po ay natugod na tinatanggap namin yung mga ganong sitwasyon. Sobra pong ang ano lang ng union is supportive po ang management kung ano man. Kahit 2 union ang nasa loob ng ABS-CBN compound, manageable po nila yung 2 union, kaya sobra kami nagpapasalamat. Ganun din, sa ngayon ongoing yung CBA namin, so sana po, ito na yung pagkakataon din na may i-share ko sa committee ito na sana po madinig pa rin yung aming panalangin at kami po ay araw-araw, kami mga union members, araw-araw po kami nagdarasal para po sa prangkisa ng ABS-CBN at hindi lang po doon, para po sa aming mga pamilya, yung umaasa sa amin dahil alam naman po natin, ito lang po yung bread battle namin sa trabaho namin, sa buhay ko, ito lang din ang ABS-CBN, sila lang din ang nagbigay sa akin ng magandang oportunidad. Mai-share ko lang, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, na nagsimula din ako sa pinakamababang position sa ABS. Na-recognize nila dahil hindi sa kung ano yung profession ko, kundi yung galing ko. Minsan sa broadcast, kailangan magpakita ka ng, hindi lang pwedeng magaling ka lang, kailangan yung attitude mo rin dapat maganda rin na ipapakita mo. Yan, pinagsama ko yung 2 na yun, siguro kung bakit ako nandito ngayon sa supervisors, na-appreciate ng management yung ginagawa ko para sa kanila, na-appreciate din nila yung ginagawa ko para sa akin. So, Mr. Chair, in general, wala ho kaming problema sa management. Sila, kung kumakain kami ng burger sa labas, kasama ang management. Yun lang po, Sir Carlo, pag inaya mong minom ng tubig sa labas, nakikipag-halubilo po sila sa mga empleyado. Yun lang po masasabi ko sa management, Mr. Chair, na sobrang bait po ng management.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Diasis.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair, thank you so much. At nagpapasalamat din po ako sa mga nagsalitang empleyado ngayong hapon na ito, bagamat ako po ay nalulungkot dahil nag-issue na po ng CDO ang NTC para sa lahat ng programa na lumalabas ngayon sa ibang channel ng ABS-CBN. Kaya asahan po natin na mas marami pang mga empleyado ngayong araw na ito ang nawalan ng trabaho. Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat, Kong Diolago. At ngayon po, ang susunod ay si Congressman Deputy Speaker Marcoleta, na kung saan binigyan din siya ng oras ng 4 o 5 nating mga kasamahan. Congressman Marcoleta.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. I'd like to present a few labor issues, Mr. Chair, surrounding ABS-CBN. This is a way in order for us to be able to get at least a bird's eye view of the nature of the cases filed against ABS-CBN and how these cases were resolved by the courts of law. Number 1, ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation versus Marlene Nazareno et al. GR number 164156, September 26, 2006. The respondents in this case, all employees of ABS-CBN, filed a complaint for recognition of regular employment status, underpayment of overtime pay, holiday pay, premium pay, service incentive pay, sick leave pay, and 13-month pay with damages. The NLRC ruled that respondents were entitled to the benefits under the CBA because they were regular employees who contributed to the profits of ABS-CBN through their labor. ABS-CBN appealed the NLRC decision to the Court of Appeals. The CA junked the petition, holding that the respondent workers are regular employees who perform tasks necessary and desirable in the usual trade and business of ABS-CBN. ABS-CBN went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court denied their petition and affirmed the decision of the Court of Appeals. Number 2, Farley Polace et al. Versus ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation, GR number 183810, January 21, 2010. The petitioners are workers of ABS-CBN, and they filed 2 separate complaints for regularization, unfair labor practice, and several money claims against ABS-CBN. The labor arbiter ruled for petitioner workers, finding them regular employees of ABS-CBN, not independent contractors, entitled to the benefits and privileges of regular employees. In the illegal dismissal case, the workers' dismissal was affirmed by NLRC and by the Court of Appeals. Petitioner workers appealed their case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court granted the workers' petition and reversed and set aside the decision of the Court of Appeals, ruling that the petition workers are regular employees entitled to CBA benefits and declared the terminations of the drivers illegal. Number 3, Nelson Begino et al. Versus ABS-CBN Corporation, GR number 199166, April 20, 2015. Petitioner workers filed a complaint against ABS-CBN and its manager for Regional Network Group for regularization as they perform functions necessary and desirable to ABS-CBN's business, work under its direct control and supervision, and were subjected to annual competency assessment. The NLRC affirmed the labor arbiter's decision favoring the petitioner workers. Court of Appeals, however, reversed the findings of the labor arbiter and the NLRC and ruled against the existence of an employer-employee relationship. The petitioner workers appealed their case to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court reversed the decision of the Court of Appeals and held that, notwithstanding the nomenclature of their talent contracts and/or program project assignment forms, and the terms and conditions embodied therein, petitioner workers are deemed regular employees of ABS-CBN. It said that the test to determine whether employment is regular or not is the reasonable connection between the activity performed by the employee in relation to the business or trade of the employer. Konti na lamang po ito. ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation versus Honorato Hilario et al. GR number 193136, July 10, 2019. Respondent workers filed a complaint for illegal dismissal, illegal deduction, non-payment of meal allowances, with prayer for damages against ABS-CBN. The labor arbiter ruled that respondent workers were illegally dismissed and ordered ABS-CBN to reinstate them to their former or equivalent positions and to pay their full back wages and other allowances. The NLRC affirmed said decision. ABS-CBN appealed the decision to the Court of Appeals. The CA likewise affirmed the decision of the NLRC. Not satisfied, ABS-CBN went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court upheld the decision of the CA in the payment of back wages and in lieu of reinstatement of respondent Banting and heirs of Hilario, ABS-CBN was ordered to pay them separation pay equivalent to 1 month pay for every year of service from the respective dates of employment up to the finality of the Supreme Court's decision. ABS-CBN Corporation versus Noel Macatuno et al. is a case where 7 television crew members were dismissed by the ABS-CBN. Amid the clamor for regularization, ABS-CBN forced them to sign employment contracts containing a waiver of the right to regularization. Refusing to be downgraded to project employees, the network fired them from the service. The CA appealed the NLRC ruling that the 7 employees of ABS-CBN were illegally dismissed. The court further noted that the workers performed vital tasks necessary to ABS-CBN's delivery of its programs for about 7 years. Having established the employer-employee relationship, the CA held that the network is liable to reinstate the illegally dismissed employees and to pay full back wages. ABS-CBN Corporation versus ABS-CBN 1JM Workers Union. Petitioner ABS-CBN petition for the cancellation of the certificate of registration issued by the DOLE on ABS-CBN IJM Workers Union as a legitimate labor organization. The main claim in the petition was that union misrepresented itself as legitimate labor organization and its members are not employees of ABS-CBN. Regional Director of DOLE NCR ruled in favor of the union, giving credence to the latter's assertion that its members are indeed employees of ABS-CBN. ABS-CBN appealed the order to the Bureau of Labor Relations, but the appeal was denied. It then appealed to the resolution to the BLR, to the Court of Appeals, and the CA denied ABS-CBN's petition. Again, not satisfied, ABS-CBN resorted to the Supreme Court. A minute resolution was issued by the Supreme Court resolving to deny the petition with the effect of recognizing the union members as employees, not independent contractors, considering the power of control of ABS-CBN over said workers. Mr. Chair, I think these cases I presented are good representative samples indicating how ABS-CBN treated its workers. If these workers are, I would say, characters in one of their telenovelas, it will probably serve a microcosm of how ABS-CBN regard our labor laws that protect the interests of the working class. How ABS-CBN pay lip service to the kapamilya concept that they pontificate from their ivory towers. Charity begins at home. We always say that, Mr. Chair. Pero pag kapamilya mo, Mr. Chair, hindi mo tinatrato ng parehas. Meron kang paborito. Palagay ko hindi nagagamit yung salitang kapamilya. With all due respect, Madam Cory Bidanes, please. Kayo po ba ay meron ng pamilya?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meron na po.
Yes, Your Honor. I have 3 children po.
Opo. Ipaghalimbawa lamang naman po ito. Ano? Halimbawa lang na yung pong inyong asawa ay nakagawa ng isang bagay na labag sa batas. Halimbawa, ang asawa po ninyo, iniisip ko naman siguro mabait yan, bukod sa gwapo siguro, matulungin, kaya naman nagustuhan nyo siya. Pero lahat po naman ng tao nagkakamali kasi. Halimbawa lang po na nagkamali ang asawa nyo, nakalabag sa batas. At siya po'y inaresto. At maring nakulong po. Pwede po bang gawin nating depensa sa loob ng husgado na kawawa naman po yung mga anak namin. Kawawa naman po yung mga kaibigan namin, mga kababayan namin natulungan niya sapagkat matulungin tao ito eh. Ang totoo po niyan ay hindi mabilang po ang lahat ng mga naibigay niya ng pagtulong sa komunidad. Napakabait na po na tao yan. Pwede po ba natin gawing dahilan yun, Madam Cory?
Your Honor, wala po kaming nilalabag na batas.
Hindi po, yung example ko lamang
Yung
po.
example ko po, kung ang asawa ko yun, he's innocent until proven guilty po.
Ano po yung sagot niyo, ma'am?
Sabi niyo po, kung makulong yung asawa ko dahil sa
Example lamang po yun. Kaya...
Yun nga po. So, ang example ko po, ang sagot ko po doon is, di ba, inosente po siya hanggang proven guilty.
Hindi nga po nakulong na nga po eh. Ikukulong po na po siya. Pwede po ba nating, ganito po, nangyayari naman po sa buhay nating lahat ito at ang totoo po niyan, putok ang kulungan sa rami po ng mga taong nakukulong. Talaga pong gano'n eh, nagkasala sila. Ang tinatanong ko lamang po sa inyo sa paghahalimbawa sa isang pamilyang katulad ninyo, nandun na po, nakarap na po tayo sa husgado. Napatunayan na po na nagkasala. Pwede po ba nating habulin yon at sabihin nating kawawa naman po yung mga pamilya namin, mga kaibigan namin, mga taong natulungan po namin sa lipunan sapagkat napakabait po ng asawa ko. Ang ebidensya po ang pinag-uusapan kasi rito eh. Ang nagpakulong po sa asawa ninyo, sa ginamit nating halimbawa, may mga ebidensya na iniharap po sa husgado. So ang tanong ko lamang po sa inyo, pwede po ba natin gamitin yung kabaitan at napakarami nating ginawang pagtulong sa ating kapwa para yung paglabag po ay mapatawad? Ma'am Cory.
Your Honor, kung ang ibig niyong pong sabihin ay binibigyan...
Pakilakas lang po ninyo.
Your Honor, if your example is descriptive of what we are going through now po, I would like to tell you po that because I've been with the company for 34 years already, hindi po kami perfecto. We said that from the very beginning. Pero po,
hindi ko naman po ginagamit na example yung company nyo. Yung ginamit ko po ay example po na binanggit ko sa inyo. Sige po, kung sakasakaling nahihirapan po kayong
hindi, Your Honor,
sagutin.
It's a
Mr.
Chairman.
Sagutin.
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Chairman.
it's a parallelism lang po. I'm
Excuse
saying
me po,
if that's the parallelism.
Excuse me po, Ma'am Bidanes.
Sorry po.
Mr. Attorney Sobreviñas po, Mr. Chairman. Maghintay po kayo, nakilalanin kayo ng yung floor po ay binigay ng chairman kay Congressman Rodante. Kung hindi po niya kayo kikilalanin, ay maghihintay po kayong kilalanin po niya kayo. Tuloy po kayo, Congressman Marcoleta.
Nais po ba niyong sagutin pa yon, Madam Cory, yung tanong ko bilang isang paghahalimbawa?
Your Honor, ang sagot ko po sana kasi is if it's a parallelism to what's happening to us now po, as I said earlier, di ba, we're innocent, hindi kami perpekto, pero wala po kaming nilalabag na batas.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, sino po ba yung gustong sumagot?
Congressman Marcoleta, yung floor po ay binigay sa inyo ni Chairman Chicoy at nasa inyo po kung kikilalanin niyo po yung
sino nga po yung
si Attorney Francis, Congressman Marcoleta.
Nasaan po siya, Mr. Chair?
Your Honor, si Attorney Francis po from ABS.
Ay, opo, sige po. Pasensya na kayo, natatakpan po kasi kayo.
Mr. Chairman, sinimulan po ang diskusyon sa pamamagitan ng isang recitation ng mangilan-ngilang desisyon ng ating Korte Suprema kung saan natalo ang ABS-CBN.
Sandali po, ang pinag-uusapan natin
suspend,
dito...
Mr. Chairman.
Hearing suspended.
Mga kababayan, hanggang dito lang muna dahil medyo nagkakabayan na sa Kongreso at medyo mahaba na ang video na ito. Siguro mga kababayan, gagawa na lang tayo ng part 2 para may pagpatuloy natin ang video na to. By the way mga kababayan, please subscribe my channel and hit the notification bell. Ngan kunta sa nakon makasangkayan sa FB, kasangkayan man sa personal, kunta masubscribe ini yung channel. Salamat. Thank you. Kumusta po kayo? And God bless.